Good morning. We would like to extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed guests, dignitaries, and participants present here today for the workshop on how to crack SSB. We are grateful to you for gracing us with your presence. There are a variety of pathways to be commissioned as an officer in the armed forces. This applies to civilians, that is, after 10+2 graduation and post-graduation, as well as for serving armed forces personnel. All except Army Medical Corps members must succeed in the SSB interview. The Service Selection Board is an organization that assesses the candidate for becoming officers in the Indian Armed Forces. The board evaluates the suitability of the candidate for becoming an officer using a standardized protocol of evaluation system which constitute personality, intelligence tests, and interviews. The tests are both written and practical task-based. An SSB comprises the panel of assessors who are officers in the Indian Armed Forces and having their specialization as psychologists, group task officer, and interviewing officer. In total, there are 13 service selection boards across India, out of which 4 boards are for the Indian Army, 4 boards are for the Indian Air Force, and 5 boards for the Indian Navy. Today, we have amongst us Brigadier Prem Mandotra, former president of Service Selection Board. Brigadier Prem Mandotra was commissioned in the Punjab Regiment in 1978. Sir is an alumnus of the Defence Services Staff College, Wellington, and College of Defence Management, Secunderabad. Brigadier Mandotra is also a qualified interviewing officer from Defence Institute of Psychological Research with rich experience of 3 years as president of a service selection board. After retirement in 2014, Sir is settled at Jammu Tawi and undertakes grooming of aspirants for SSB interviews. He has trained candidates in personality development programs in Army HRDCs and conducted coaching capsules for Army schools and NCC camps. Now, I humbly request Brigadier Prem Mandotra to address the gathering and guide the students on how to crack SSB. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Asha ji, for the brief introduction, and very good morning to Major General P.K. Sharma, who's an old friend and an old colleague. We have even served together. In fact, at the very outset, I would like to mention that I even had the opportunity to physically come to the esteemed MET University about 3 years ago when I was invited. Again, General Sharma was kind enough to do that. And it was a great experience interacting with the faculty as well as with the students. And today, here I am once again with you on the same subject. And as has already been explained to you, the basic topic is how to go about preparing for the SSB. Crack is a word I normally do not prefer to use. Normally, we crack nuts and coconuts and groundnuts. SSB is something which, you may think of cracking it, but I would rather prefer to use the word clear the SSB or be recommended in the SSB.
So students when they generally pass the competitive exam, they say that judiciary ka exam crack kar liya. That's a word with the students, sir. But anyway, yeah. Sir, I understand. Sir.
No. Every day students are there with me, and this is a word they are very much accustomed to you. It was just in the lighter vein that I was trying to convey it. Okay, yeah. So crack the SSB. Okay, I'll also use the terminology. So how to crack the SSB? Okay, friends, in order to understand how to clear or crack the SSB, we obviously have to understand what is the selection system all about and what is actually going to happen in the 5 days that you are going to be there in the SSB and what exactly it is that they are wanting to see in you. So in the 3 hours that we have with each other today, I have tried to put in this package and I shall now start with that. Can you see the slide in front, the new slide, aim of life?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Each one of us has an aim in life, and upon the quality of the aim depends the quality of our life. So says the mother. Well, friends, those of you who are here in the seminar today, I obviously have an aim in life, uh, amongst maybe other aims, to try and join the armed forces of India as a commissioned officer. It's a very good aim that you are nursing. I compliment you for that. And I assure you that if you succeed in your aim, you will definitely have a very good quality of life in the armed forces of India. As you know, the armed forces comprise of the three services: the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And you can aspire to join any one of them, either in the Judge Advocate General JAG branch, of which most of you are the aspirants, or maybe even through any common entry like the CDS. You can even plan to join the other arms and services. Now, talking about the quality of life in the armed forces, which I said would be there, it would provide you an excellent opportunity to serve the nation, which we all, in the deepest corners of our heart, aspire to do. It's a job which is full of honor and dignity. It's a profession which gives you tremendous room for professional growth. You can go to the highest ranks in case you are hardworking and dedicated. It will give you all kinds of security, including financial security. We are well paid in the armed forces of India, no doubt in that. It's a life full of fitness and adventure, will give you tremendous travel opportunities, a good status to you and your family, and even post-retirement benefits. That is basically for people like me, uh, are also very nice, good, and lucrative. Now, friends, this is one of the questions which is going to be asked to you during your interview also. Why do you want to join the Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, for whatever you've got? Now, when we come to the interview technique, I'll again get back to this point. Please try and think up in your mind. And the reasons naturally that you should attribute for wanting to join the armed forces are basically the first few ones. The first few ones, that it gives you a wonderful opportunity to serve the country. It's a different kind of a service with a different kind of work requirement and job description, job full of honor and dignity, and will give you a chance to be a good leader at a very young age and grow professionally and do great service to the country. So your reasons for joining the armed forces should be on those lines. Please do not focus on money, finances, facilities. That will unnecessarily give a wrong notion to someone that the candidate is slightly money-minded in nature. I'm sure you have understood the point that I'm trying to convey. Otherwise, indeed, life in the armed forces will provide you all these uh, uh, avenues that I have tried to project here on the screen. Now, the very first thing, friends, with this backdrop, the very first thing I would like to touch upon is the overview of the selection system. And here, in a very summarized way, I would like to tell you what exactly is going to happen in the 5 days in the SSB, and what is it that the assessors are keen to observe in you, which actually we call the concept of officer-like qualities. So let us have a peep into the selection system itself. Now, when we look at our selection system, historically, we have derived it from the British era. What used to be followed then was adopted with modifications. And in the 1950s and 60s, most of the work was done on the current selection system, and the establishment of the selection centers happened, which Asha ji was just trying to tell you, how many selection centers, how many SSBs. She has just explained to you. I did not go into those details. So the establishment of our selection centers and the Defense Institute of Psychological Research which is a scientific body under the Ministry of Defense, part of DRDO, which helps in the scientific aspects of recruitment and officer selection. So these organizations came up, they sprouted in the 50s, 60s, and the 70s. And by the 1970s, we had a well-established selection system, which I may very proudly say has withstood the test of time and is in vogue even today. So the selection system that we see today has been in place for nearly 50 years unchanged. Right. There are selection systems of the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, selection centers, and letter will come, you will know exactly to which selection selection center you have to report to and in which location. Now, every selection center has a number of SSBs under it. For example, in selection center Bhopal, where I served, we had 3 Army SSBs and 1 Naval SSB. And the job of the SSB is to select potential candidates who, after training in the defense academies, can become acceptable officers. So therefore, friends, SSBs are looking for a certain kind of potential and trainability in you, which actually we will see when we will talk about the officer-like qualities. And that is the kind of potential and qualities that you will have to demonstrate to the assessors in the SSB. We'll come to that. You're all aware it is a 2-stage selection procedure in which stage 1 is a basic screening and test for retaining a certain number of candidates, and those who clear the screening and test or the stage 1 will enter stage 2 or the main SSB tests. So the screening in test will be conducted on day 1, and day 2 onwards starts the main SSB for those who clear the screening and test. I'll come to the screening and test, the importance of it, and what are the points you must keep in mind so that you should not get screened out. We'll come to it subsequently. Now, Asha ji, I hope my slides are visible.
Yes,
Sir. Yes, sir. Slides are, yes, absolutely clearly, sir.
Okay, very fine. I just wanted to check back.
No, sir. In case of any problem, we will apprise you. Otherwise, sir, everything is good, sir. So, thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, friends, as you would be going to an SSB, you must understand what is the SSB comprising of, who are the assessors over there. Now, this is a typical organization. It is headed by the president, who's of the rank of a major general or brigadier, and he is himself an interviewing officer. There is a deputy president of the rank of a colonel, who's the second interviewing officer. There are group testing officers, and whose job it is to see your performance as a part of a group, means in certain group activities. They are called GTOs. And then we have psychologists, whose job is to check your psychology. Now, generally, the psychologists are civilian officers. Normally, in an Army SSB, out of the 4, 3 are civilians and 1 is from the Army. But the interviewing officers and the GTOs are all people in uniform. And the center commandant himself would be the senior most officer, that is the major general. And you will get your call up letter from the call up section, which operates under the center. And you will know exactly when to report and where to report. Once you report to the selection center, you will be sent to the designated SSB, which you will come to know only once you will reach the location. Okay, that much about the organization. And these officers therefore become your assessors in the SSB. They will be assessing your personality, in the form of officer-like qualities using their own techniques. The interviewing officer's technique is therefore called the interview technique. The group testing officer's technique is called the situational task techniques because he makes you perform situation-based tasks on the ground as part of a group. And the psychologist's technique, which is basically all written paper pencil tests, and we will come to that subsequently, and I will give you the tips also, is called the psych technique, or we also call them scientifically projective tests. Now, later on, one by one, we will be covering the each technique in detail, and I will one by one talk about them subsequently. Now, mind you, friends, these assessors are trained for this job. They have been given scientifically, they have attended courses of instructions in the Defense Institute of Psychological Research, which is in Delhi, where you people are located. And they are even given practical training in the SSBs. Only then they become assessors. Only then the military secretary's branch posts them as assessors. So they are scientifically qualified in the job. The point I'm trying to make is have faith in the system. You are in good hands and they know what they are doing. Next, the procedure in a little more detail. Now, friends, the three assessors will initially assess you individually. The initial assessments are by the respective techniques. When the interviewing officer is interviewing you, only he is there. When the GTO is testing you, only he is testing you. He is not showing that to the other two assessors. And similarly, the psych is checking your work individually. Thereafter, suitability of each candidate is discussed and decided in the board conference, which happens on the last day of the SSB. So after all the three assessors have individually assessed you, they will come together in the board conference, which will be held on the last day, and discuss your case. Now, remember, all the three techniques carry equal weightage in the evaluation of the candidate. They are also supplementary and complementary to each other. And that is why the three assessors carry out a very open-minded discussion, a very frank discussion about what each one of them has perceived as far as your personality and officer-like qualities is concerned. And by this supplementary and complementary discussion that they do with each other, they come to a final conclusion whether to recommend you or not to recommend you. Now, friends, a very important point here I would like to make is that your best chance of getting recommended is when you have done well in all the three techniques. It will not only ensure that you get recommended, it will also ensure that you will be high in the order of merit because you would have got more marks as compared to some other candidate who was initially not cleared by an assessor but came up by discussion. So I again repeat that the lesson here for you should be to try and put your best foot forward and excel in all the three techniques. Let the interviewing officer be happy with you, let the GTO be happy with you, let the psych will be happy with you, and you will get recommended. Of course, the process is very scientific, time-tested, and very impartial. Now, friends, please have no fears about anything. This is a system where nobody can interfere. And that is what I can vouch for, my having been in the system myself. It is not possible to help a candidate and it is the candidate is going to be selected on own merit. So go with that clarity in your mind. Now, having seen the procedure and outline, we will come back to what happens on each of the days a little later. But now let us focus on what is it that the assessors are wanting to assess in you. The basic procedure of selection at the SSBs aims at assessment of candidates on qualities of military leadership, which we call officer-like qualities or OLQs. In the case of Air Force and Navy, for certain entries, there are aptitude tests. For example, pilot aptitude test, navigational aptitude test. These are additional tests. It is outside the purview of my discussion here today. These are basically tests, machine tests designed to check your physical structure, your hand, mind, body coordination, your eyesight, your leg lengths. That is beyond the scope of our today's seminar over here. Uh, and in Army, there are no such aptitude tests. These are only in the case of some entries in the Air Force and the Navy. Now, the basic thing, what I've mentioned here is that the SSBs are wanting to see in you qualities of a military leader. Now, why military leader? Because we are joining the military. You will be leading men. You will be commanding units and subunits with time to come. You must have that kind of approach in life. You must have that kind of mentality, if I may use the word. You must have that kind of personality, which is the actual word that we use. Of course, you are going to be trained for that. Nobody is a born military leader, neither you nor me. You will be trained, but you must show the assessors that yes, this candidate is having the basic potential. He has got the trainability. And how will you show that? We will see that when we will talk about officer-like qualities just after this. Now, friends, you can just have a look. Even Asha ji was mentioning about this. There are various entry schemes into the Army. Similarly, for the Navy and the Air Force, I've just put up the Army slide over here. Most of you have gone beyond the NDA and the 10+2 entry stage. But there are other entries available for you. I am sanguine that most of you are aspiring to join the JAG branch, which is the second last over here. You can see that your age limit will be 21 to 27. And there is no examination. You are very fortunate. You can go directly by filling up your form when the government notification comes. The SSB will be held generally 2 to 3 months after the government notification comes. And the training starts sometimes in April batch or September batch. There could be changes in this depending on how the situation goes, but you will know when the notification will come out, you will know it has come out and you will know to apply. Please keep a tag. Sometimes notifications come and go and we keep sleeping. Now that is not a good thing. Please don't miss any opportunity to fill up any form, whether it is for JAG branch or whether it is for any other common entry like IMA, OTA, CDS or Short Service Commission. My advice to you, my dear friends, is please try and avail maximum opportunity which is available to you by filling up all the forms, because all entries ultimately will take you to the same army. You may join a different arm, a different service, but all arms, all services are good. You take it from me. You can have your priority as JAG branch, but in case you are keen to even join other arms and services, very good, fill up the form. And in case you have done NCC, you can even try and join from the NCC special entry scheme, which is the last one over here, where again, there is no written paper and you will be called directly for the SSB. It's a good opportunity also to be used. Okay, that much about the entry schemes. Now, friends, we will proceed towards the concept of the officer-like qualities. Now, when you join the armed forces, you are joining a unique organization, which has got its unique job description, unique work to perform. You will agree with me that every organization is unique. So are the armed forces. And you all know the kind of job that the officers and the other ranks in the armed forces of India have to perform. It's a life which is full of soldiering and military leadership. You know the kind of terrains we have to operate in, the kind of environments we have to operate in the armed forces, the kind of work we have to do in peace, in war, in field areas, in operational areas. So much activity is happening even during normal peace times. There are insurgencies, there is militancy, there is terrorism. So this life of soldiering and military leadership is a constant phenomena for an officer in the armed forces of India. And that is the way of life. And therefore, if we have to be in such an organization, in such a service, you must also have the kind of qualities which are required for that job. And that is what we mean by the concept of officer-like qualities. Officer-like qualities have been evolved over the years very systematically. And there are 15 officer-like qualities which are there, which have come to stay, and which all the three services have adopted. Irrespective of your entry or the branch or the service or the entry scheme through which you are going, the SSB procedure is the same and the 15 officer-like qualities are the same. You go for any SSB, for any entry, for any department, for any arm, for any services, it is the same 15 officer-like qualities that we are talking about and that the SSS are going to see in you. Very important, I call this the bread and butter of preparing for SSB. I will repeat that again. This I consider is the bread and butter. If you have understood this, you have understood a lot. What remains beyond this is procedure. You're all educated people. Procedure you will know how to adopt. But qualities have to be developed. Qualities have to be demonstrated. And therefore, let us try and understand what are these 15 officer-like qualities which the SSS will be monitoring and checking in you, in your personality. Now, the areas of interest in your OLQs can be covered as follows. There are qualities which we call the qualities of the head. There are qualities which we call the qualities of your heart. Then we have the leadership qualities and the qualities of the body and limbs. Head you all understand. Head is your intelligence, your thinking, your reasoning, and that helps you to do all planning and organizing in life. When we say qualities of the heart, Dil, we are referring to such qualities which make you socially a well-adjusted person. When we talk about leadership qualities, we are looking for those kind of qualities which make you socially very effective. You make a good impact, good influence on others. And when we talk about qualities of the body or limbs, here we are talking of those qualities which make you strong, fit, and dynamic, physically as well as mentally. So let us go one by one over each of these, the head, the heart, the leadership and limbs, and try and understand these officer-like qualities. Number one, the qualities of your head, which help you to do all the planning and organizing. The assessors will be keen to check in you 4 OLQs in this. Number one, effective intelligence. Now, friends, effective intelligence means your practical intelligence. Partly, it may come from your basic intelligence, but it comes from beyond that. Your effective intelligence or practical intelligence is your ability to handle situations, which may even be difficult. When you are confronted, when you are facing difficult situations, are you capable of handling them? When you are faced with problems, Are you capable of solving them, creating solutions, solving the problems, handling the situation? So it may partly come from your basic intelligence, but beyond that, it comes from your common sense, knowledge of the environment and surroundings, self-confidence, and life experience. They would like to see that you are a person who's up and about and who can handle situations. Next, reasoning ability is your ability to think rationally, logically, analyze the things properly, and respond with clarity and ease under normal circumstances and even under pressure. Now, to have a good reasoning ability, a person needs to be receptive. He needs to have an inquiring attitude. He should be curious in life. So should you be. आपके अंदर जिज्ञासा होनी चाहिए और जानकारी की. Because knowledge enhances your reasoning. And here comes the importance of current affairs, general knowledge, and knowledge of the environment. That is why in all interviews, in SSBs and even in other interviews in the environment, people are always asking you current affairs and GK questions because it promotes your reasoning ability. Number 3, organizing ability. Organizing ability is your ability to utilize the given resources and produce desired results. Everything is a resource, time, money, manpower. How do you utilize the resources which are available? How do you create resources for yourself? And are you able to utilize the resources and produce the desired results? Now, how you have utilized your resources in life can be seen even from your PIQ form. What have you done in studies is a reflection of it. Do you do anything in games and sports? Again shows your utilization of resources. Similarly, hobbies, interests, extracurricular activities. Similarly, when the GTO will make you do tasks on the ground as a part of a group, he will give you the resources and he will see in front of him how you people and you are utilizing the resources. And are you able to produce the desired results? Number 4, power of expression. Power of expression is your ability to convey your ideas to others clearly, concisely, and easily. Now, all the tests are going to be conducted in English. So, friends, you will agree with me that a satisfactory level of English writing skills for the psych test and spoken skills for the interview and the GTO tasks, because everything will be verbal over there. So satisfactory level of power of expression in English, written and spoken, is important to do well in the SSB. Now, just to give confidence to those candidates who have not gone to convents and very great English medium schools, don't worry. Power of expression is not necessary your mastery over English. It is your ability to convey your thoughts, ideas, knowledge with clarity and with ease. If you are able to do that, friends, I assure you it is enough. You don't have to become very self-conscious कि मैं convent school में नहीं पढ़ा हूँ, नहीं पढ़ी हूँ, मैं तो एक government school का हूँ. No problems. As long as you have the ability to stand there and speak with confidence, with good knowledge, with good clarity, I assure you it is enough. I have seen many candidates who have good flowery English not making it, and people with just satisfactory average English making it because they have tremendous confidence and good knowledge. But it is a highly trainable quality and it should be your aim to constantly improve your written and spoken English, not just for the SSB, for your general life, and it will definitely then also help you in the SSB. That much about the qualities of the head. Now let us look at the qualities of the heart, which they will be focusing on. Number one, social adaptability. This is your ability to deal with people. People can be your seniors, elders, colleagues, friends, or they can even be your subordinates or juniors. आपके अंदर वो काबिलियत है, वो कला है, वो tact है, that you know how to deal with people. And how should we deal with people? Sensibly, tactfully, in a matured way, showing good attitude, respect towards others. In the SSB, you should come across as a person who's very friendly, who can mix up very easily with the others, respects others, gives equal opportunities to others, and overall has good social intelligence, and he is very adaptable, ready to change according to the requirement, according to the situation. And word of caution, never show negative traits in adaptability, because they will take it this person lacks basic manners or etiquettes or social intelligence, and that can go heavily against you. Like, do not get angry, show tantrums, start shouting, losing your temper, criticizing others. मैं बहुत ग्रेट हूं, बाकी ऐसे ही हैं, मेरे सामने कोई कुछ नहीं है. You cannot have that kind of attitude. Be very adaptable, be very mature. Next one is cooperation. Cooperation, आप सब समझते हैं, helpfulness, team spirit. You should not be self-centered, you should not be selfish. You must believe in give and take. So please show a very healthy team spirit, group-mindedness, help the others in the ground tasks when you are there on the GTO grounds, give support, show help and cooperation, and plenty of team spirit. Even in the other techniques, there are methods of finding out how cooperative you are by questioning you, hypothetical questions. Psych technique has its own way of finding out, but you must come across as a person who's very cooperative and full of team spirit. Very important, because in the armed forces, cooperation is required in everything, and we are always working as teams. Number three, sense of responsibility. Now, any organization would like to have people who are very dutiful and very disciplined. So is the Armed Forces of India. Sense of responsibility includes a high sense of duty and a high sense of discipline. Whatever you do in the SSB, it should be that they must get a feeling that the candidate is taking everything very sincerely, very seriously. He's very attentive. He's listening to the orders, instructions. He's following them. He's not violating any rules or regulations. And by and large, he's a very dutiful, disciplined, and an orderly person. Don't try and do things by hook or crook. It is not a good thing. Don't try and do something dishonest or try and use shortcuts or trying to do, like I said, things by hook or crook. If it is noticed, then they will feel the person is indisciplined and it can go against you. So friends, a word of caution here I would like to make is that you must show the SSS that you are very good in social adaptability, cooperation, and sense of responsibility, because these qualities scientifically are considered to be less trainable. Less trainable. If they find weakness here, well, friends, they may have second thoughts about recommending you. So I'm again repeating, please be good and demonstrate good social adaptability, good cooperation, and good sense of responsibility in the SSB. Very important. We come to the next set of qualities, that qualities of a leader. And here we have the qualities which make you socially effective. You make good impact and influence on others, and these qualities are, going over them quickly now, initiative, that the person is ready to take the initiative. ये candidate पहल करता है, आगे बढ़ता है, लीड लेता है, ये पीछे पीछे छुप नहीं रहा है, ये आगे बढ़ के काम कर रहा है, पहल करता है, इसमें लीडरशिप है, ये लीड देता है, दूसरे इसको फॉलो करते हैं. I am sure you are understanding what I am trying to say. Take initiative. Number 2, show self-confidence. A person who's lacking in confidence, how can he be a good leader? We are talking of qualities of a leader. Show good self-confidence. So how will you show good self-confidence? By your active participation in everything, and participate very enthusiastically and with a smile on your face. Smile देने में कोई पैसा खर्च नहीं होता है आपका. Don't look very nervous or very confused. On the other hand, you must look very lively, cheerful, and you must generally be smiling around and doing the job. But basically, self-confidence will be seen by them when they will see a good demonstrated performance, an active performance in everything which is being done, and you are also participating with full josh, with full enthusiasm, and with a smile on your face. Everybody likes a self-confident person. The next quality of a leader is speed of decision. You will be asked questions, you will be asked to give ideas, you will be participating in planning things, and it should come across that you are a candidate who's sharp, who can think quickly, who can come up with the answers, the ideas, the plans, the suggestions quickly and correctly. Do not be very slow, very ponderous, taking too much time, too thoughtful. Then they will have the opposite, that will have the opposite effect, that the candidate is slow. And if you are slow, you will actually land up, your tests will remain incomplete. You will not be able to complete your TAT, VAT, SRTs. You will be somewhere in the middle. Your stories will be incomplete. So friends, you have to be decisive, quick, and sharp if you have to perform well in the SSB. You must make yourself like that. If you feel you are slightly slow, please gear up, change your gear. You will have to change your gear. Number 4, ability to influence the group. Now, friends, ability to influence the group means that people, you make a good impact on people. They are happy to be a part of your team, and they are even ready to accept you as their leader. And it happens because of your other nice and good qualities, that all-round good qualities are there in you. And when you have all-round good qualities, you also have the good ability to influence the group, and they will even accept you as their leader, and they will very easily agree to the suggestions or the points that you are giving. You must have a good ability to influence the group. And number 5 is liveliness. It comes from the word full of life. You should be a person, you should seem to be a person who's full of life, full of josh, cheerfulness, a smile on your face. And when the situations become tough, even then you can retain your cheer and keep on doing the work. The assessors will put pressure on you. There is pressure of time in the psych tests. There is pressure of performance in the interview technique. The interviewing officer may ask you a difficult, unexpected question. The GTO may put pressure on you, pressure of time. He may take away some resources. Pressure can be applied on you in so many ways by the assessor. You should absorb the pressure, retain your cheer, and liveliness and keep on doing the work. Very, very important, because pressure of performance in any case is there on the candidate. सभी के ऊपर होता है. अगर मैं भी SSB में जाऊं, मेरे ऊपर भी प्रेशर होगा. But I should be able to hold, control, and do the job even under pressure. I should be able to remain calm and composed and do the work even under pressure. That is liveliness. And now we come to the last set of qualities, the qualities of your body or limb, which make you strong, fit, and dynamic, and both physically as well as mentally. We have 3 OLQs here. The first one is determination. दृढ़ निश्चय, पक्का इरादा, कामयाबी के लिए. You want to be कामयाब. You want to succeed. You will not give up easily. You are ready to try again. You are a person who will put in more effort and more effort. Try new things, new ideas, new plans. Take help, but you want to succeed. You will not give up easily. That is the kind of approach you must have in the SSB. Number 2, courage, sahas, bahaduri. Scientifically speaking, courage is your readiness and ability to take risks. In armed forces, soldiers, military leaders have to be prepared to take risks in difficult situations. If you are lacking courage, if you are not ready to take the risk which is required to be taken, then I am afraid, how will you make a good soldier? How will you make a good military leader on top of it? So a person, a normal average person, must have the, उसके अंदर इतना जिगर होना चाहिए कि he is ready to take the risk, calculated risk, which has to be taken. And in SSB, friends, never show fear. I again repeat, never show fear. Fear is not acceptable. So physical fear or psychological fear, please, fear is not to be shown. We may have the fear inside us. It should be controlled. We are all, God has given us that gift of trying and controlling our fears. You have to do it. And you must show plenty of courage all through the SSB. And I come to the last OLQ, 15th OLQ, stamina. To test your stamina, they will even make you do physical tasks, individual obstacles. We will see that later. And mental stamina can be seen in any case, in everything that you do. So they would like to see that you're a person who's physically fit, mentally robust. Let me assure you, nobody is looking for a Superman. Nobody is looking for a Superman. But they are looking for people who are fairly fit, physically and mentally. और अगर कोई हल्की फुल्की कमी है, वो ट्रेनिंग एकेडमी में आपको ट्रेनिंग के साथ में you will overcome that also. So as long as you show them that I am fairly physically and mentally fit and robust, they are happy with you, and you will be made to do certain ground tasks also for that. Now, friends, we have talked about 15 OLQs. In reality, human personality is not a mechanical summation of various qualities. It's a product of their integration. What do I mean by this? Very simply put, all qualities are interconnected. They are all interconnected. And if you strengthen one quality, it has a positive impact on other qualities as well. You will agree with me. For example, you will agree with me that if a person has got good self-confidence, he is ready to take initiative, he is ready to take decisions, he will have a good ability to influence the others. Yes or no? Yes. He will have good ability to influence the group. Why? Because he shows self-confidence, he takes initiative, he takes decisions. और इसी को आप उल्टा करके देखो, then the person will lack the ability to influence the group. Similarly, you will agree with me that if a person is very determined, then even if he is physically not that much great, he may still do the task. But if a person lacks determination, then he may have more physical ability, but still may not do the task. Now, friends, that is the job of the assessors. That is their job, how the qualities are kind of playing up in you. They are scientifically trained. They can see these relationships. But the point that I'm trying to make for you is all these 15 OLQs are by and large trainable. By and large. There are some OLQs which are less trainable, like maybe reasoning ability and courage and social adaptability and those kind of things, maybe little less trainable. But by and large, all OLQs are highly trainable. And if you carry out an introspection about yourself and decide to improve in these qualities by making a conscious effort to change yourself wherever you need to change, then it will benefit you, and improvement of one OLQ will bring other OLQs also up. That is the point I wish to make. And you should be doing it. Now, I want to end up this part about OLQs by this one slide, which is basically trying to tell to you that your personality or officer-like qualities will emerge, and the assessors will be able to see them through the medium of your mansa, that is your mind. How does your mind work? The assessors can see it through their respective techniques. Number two, from your vacha, what are you speaking? What are you expressing in verbally or in writing? And your karmana, your actions, and even your reactions and interactions with others. Now, these are the three faculties through which your 15 OLQs will come out. You will display them, demonstrate them, and the assessors will see them. That how does your mind work? How do you express and communicate in writing and in speaking? And how do you act, react, and interact? Mansa, vacha, and karmana. God has given you these gifts. Please utilize them. Please strengthen them wherever they are required to be strengthened. And once you strengthen them, develop them further, your personality enhances, and you will make a good impact on the assessors. I would end up the concept of officer-like qualities with the saying that SSB is all about giving a good demonstrated performance. Demonstrated performance you can put in inverted commas. Demonstrated performance. You have the OLQs, but you are not demonstrating. Whose fault it is? Your fault or the assessor's fault? You have the OLQs, but you are not demonstrating. You are very shy. You are not getting involved. You are not participating fully or enthusiastically. You are trying to remain in the shadows behind, acting like a passenger. You are not coming up front. You are not taking initiative. Then whose fault it is? And friends, I have been for 3 years, I have been the president of a board. I have been an assessor. I assure you, there are many candidates like this who have it in them, but they don't come up. They are waiting for something to happen, some miracle or magic. No, the miracle, or there is no miracle, there is no magic. It is just your demonstrated performance which they will see. Now, for example, you look at me. For example, what is this? This is my mobile phone. But suppose I have it in my pocket here, where you cannot see it. Now, can you see that I have a mobile phone? You cannot see. But no, but I take it out and I show it to you. Now you see कि सर के जेब में मोबाइल फोन है. यही होता है. कैंडिडेट्स हैं जिनके अंदर OLQs है, जेब में रख के आप उनको लेके जाते हो और जेब में रख के आप उनको वापस ले आते हो, जेब से बाहर नहीं निकालते. आपने एक हिंदी में कहावत सुनी है कि ताली दो हाथ से बजती है. इट नीड्स टू हैंड्स टू क्लैप. एक हाथ आपका है, एक एसेसर का है. एसेसर ने अपना हाथ आगे बढ़ाया हुआ है, आप भी प्लीज अपना हाथ आगे बढ़ाइए और वो ताली जरूर बजेगी. Develop your OLQs and demonstrate your OLQs. There is no point in having OLQs and not demonstrating them. And how will you demonstrate? Through participation. With full josh, with full involvement, with enthusiasm, and with energy. And they will be able to judge you well. Right, friends? Here I come to the end of almost the first major part of my presentation, and that is the overview of the selection system, including the concept of officer-like qualities. This is the bread and butter of SSB. This, whatever I have spoken, is available on the internet. It is available in guidebooks. Go back to it. If you forget something, refresh it. But your job is to understand this, analyze this, introspect, and improve where you require improvement. And improvement requires time. For example, if you feel that I need to improve my communication skill, there are so many ways to do it. Start listening to English news, English channels. Start reading English books and novels. But above all, start speaking more in English. Start speaking more in English. Maybe with your parents, maybe with your brothers and sisters, maybe with your friends, so that और अच्छी हो जाए आपकी communication skill. And we can go on like this, but it is your job to introspect and improve. It is in your hands. Now, shall we leave the doubts right for the end, or we can go part by part? If anybody has a doubt, he can ask.
Sir, there are questions coming up. I think we can have a proper question answer session once you have completed, sir.
Yeah.
Or unless, because the participants may get a little confused. They have different type of questions. So I have written in the chat box that please raise your questions, write your questions. And in the end, we are compiling the questions and we will ask the questions. Asha is noting down all the questions.
So I will then leave about 15,
yes,
20 minutes in the end.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so shall we proceed?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, friends, having now understood the overview of the selection system and the concept of officer-like qualities, I shall go into the actual physical aspect of the SSB. You are all aware it is a 5-day schedule. I am just flashing it on the next 2 slides. I will not be reading out anything. You please read it, because I will be coming to each one of those aspects subsequently. So my next 2 slides, I am just flashing. As you know, day 1 is the screening and test. And it has 2 tests. You're aware of it. Day 2 onward, the main SSB will start. And the very first thing which will happen are the psych tests. We will see all these one by one. And day 3 will be your GTO 1 day, when 6-7 GTO activities will happen. The interviews would have also started right from the first day. You may be called for any time for your interview. Carrying on with day 4, that will be the next day that you spend with the GTO. So basically, you're spending 2 morning sessions with the GTO. You will be doing whatever is left over. Interviews will carry on. And the last day is the conference day. Okay, a word about the conference day. The conference day is the last day of the SSB. No tests are conducted. Right from the morning, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock onwards, the conference starts. All the three assessors sit there in the conference room. One by one, every candidate's case is discussed, which I've already explained to you. So I shall not go into details about that. And in case you have done well, you will be recommended. In case they have some problems, you will not be recommended. If any questions you have regarding this, you can ask me in the end. Now, you will also be called in. And normally a candidate is in only for 1 to 2 minutes. And you should expect only very basic questions like, how did you perform? Can you rank order your performance in various techniques? Could you have done well in any of the techniques? What is the advice you would like to give your friends who are coming for SSB? What were the facilities like over here? Do you have any suggestions for us? Very, very administrative questions. 1 minute, 2 minutes, in and out you will go. Please go appropriately dressed for the conference. Also go appropriately dressed for the stage 1 and for your interview also. In fact, you have to be appropriately dressed according to the dress code over there. And that's your work. In, out, couple of administrative questions, you are in and out. And after every candidate has been seen by the conference, in the conference, then the results are announced. In case you are recommended, you stay back. In case you are not recommended, then naturally you return home. And those who stay back, their medical starts from the very next day. They are taken to the military hospital, which is there. And it may take about 5-6 days for your medical to be done. Please be as much physically fit as you can be, especially I would say with regards to your weight. Make sure that as per your age and height, your weight is okay, so that you don't have to go back for a re-medical after 6 weeks. Avoid that. Be fit, do some exercising, make sure your weight is okay. The rest of the things are not in your hand, but at least your weight is in your hand. Of course, your fitness is in your hand, but that in any case you would be doing once you are aspiring to join the armed forces. Now, friends, let us go over these things in a little more detail. We now come to stage 1. A very, very important aspect, and I want to spend some time on this because almost 60% candidates, or at least 50 to 70, somewhere in that region, get screened out. So what is the fun of talking about all this OLQs and psych and GTO and interview if you are going to get screened out? Then what is the fun? What are we talking about? I would not like any candidate to get screened out. I mean, that is something which is disastrous, which you should avoid. But it happens. It may still happen. I've seen even good candidates in whom I had faith getting screened out. So one should not, get alarmed. But then I'm sure you all want to get screened in. Let's talk about it. There are 2 tests, the intelligence test and the PP and DT. First, let us look at the intelligence test. We also call them OIR, Officer Intelligence Rating Test. And you all know there are of 2 types, verbal based on language and non-verbal based on figures and patterns. And you know there are various kinds of intelligence tests like series and patterns and embedded figures and mirror images and blood relations and direction sense, coded language, cubes and dices, etc. etc. Now, I'm sure you are aware of what I'm talking about, because we cannot actually do the tests over here. But I'm sure you are aware of what we are talking of. Those who have appeared for AFCAT or some banking examinations even would have seen these tests. Verbal, non-verbal, reasoning ability tests. Please practice them. They are available in guidebooks, in the internet. Then there are some special books in the bookstores, which you can get on reasoning ability tests. Banking books have got these tests. PDF files are available on the internet. There are some sites like SSB, Crack, and Target SSB where free apps are also available. You must have a good package, a good store of verbal and non-verbal reasoning ability tests and keep practicing them regularly. I would not like to fix any time frame. You please do it regularly. That is all I would say. And you must score very high marks, high average and above marks in your intelligence test if you have to get screened in. I mean, that's the reality. If you really ask me, aim to score 80 to 90% marks at least in your intelligence test. And they are easy. You can score even 90% and above. These are objective, ticking the right answer type and type of questions, and should be not difficult for you. So please practice them regularly and try and get score in excess of 80 to 90% marks in your intelligence test. Now, one is that they are objective type. You only have to take the right answer. Number two, there is no negative mark. So my advice to candidates is the following. One thing I've already said, practice them. Second thing is do 100% questions. Do not leave anything. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या हो जाएगा? गलत हो जाएगा. होने दो गलत. But why are you leaving? You narrow down the option, take the right answer. Go for it. Don't leave it. Do all questions, but do not get stuck with a question. जिस questions में कोई clarity नहीं है, समझ में नहीं आ रहा, you just narrow down, tick, and go to the next one. Don't waste time and get आपकी सुई एक question पे अटकनी नहीं चाहिए. Keep moving ahead. The reason is that time is very less. 50 questions, 25 minutes. Now it is tough. And beyond this, I would only say practice, practice, and practice will make you perfect. We come to the next test, that is the picture perception and the discussion test, which we call PP and DT. The picture will be shown. This is basically a test of your imagination and description ability. This test will be conducted after the intelligence test in the central hall where the intelligence tests were conducted, and the whole batch will be shown one picture on a big screen for 30 seconds. And then the picture will disappear and you will be told to do your work, which is you have a sheet of a paper, and on that sheet of paper, you have to do the work. Your work is what? There is a box given over there in which you have to mark certain details. I will just come to that. You have got to give a title to the story and write a story. And for the entire thing, you get 5 minutes. So this is the first part of PP and DT, picture perception and story writing, which is done in the central hall. And after your stories have been written, your sheets are collected. Then you are divided into smaller groups, sizes 15 to 20 candidates, and you are sent for your group discussion. You are sent for your group discussion with your group in a different class, where first you will have to narrate your own story individually. Everyone will narrate their own story. You will be given 1 minute for that, followed by a group discussion amongst the group members. And you must actively participate in the group discussion, not be left out. The aim of the group discussion is to make a common group story. So you must also give your points, joining the threads, trying to create a common group story out of the stories which have been perceived by the majority. Join it together and try and evolve a common group story. That is the job of the group, and you should also be actively involved in that. Narrate with confidence, because when you are narrating, nobody is interrupting you. That 1 minute is your 1 minute. कोई आपको interrupt नहीं कर रहा. Your narration should be perfect, flawless. जब बीच में time मिलेगा, after the story writing and before you reach the discussion hall, You will get 10-15 minutes. Keep practicing in your mind. Keep practicing in your mind the narration, because the first thing you will go and do there is narration. 1 minute, do not take more than 1 minute. Narrate your story fluently and confidently, and then when everybody has spoken and the discussion starts, be actively involved in the discussion, trying to make a common group story. Now let us come back to picture perception and story writing. I told you the picture will be shown for 30 seconds and you have to give a title, you have to do some marking in the box, and you have to make a story. Let us try and see that. You will have to mark the characters. Can you see the slide, the marking slide?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Now you have to mark some characters. You can use this method. In this picture, I have seen 3 characters. I put 3 circles. One of my characters is a male. For male, I have put the code M. His age is 50 and he's in a positive mood. So these are the things you have to mark: the characters, the gender, the age, and the mood. The characters, the gender, the age, and the mood. So I've seen 3 characters. I put 3 circles. My first character is a male. He's 50. He's in a good mood, nice mood, okay mood, positive mood. So I put the positive sign. Then there's a lady standing to the right of him. She's a female. Her age is 35, but she appears to be in a negative mood. Negative mood means कि उसका mood खराब है. She could be crying. She could be looking very sad. She could be looking depressed. She may be looking very angry. Only then I feel it is a negative mood. Then I put a negative sign. And there is a small child, male, age 10, who's just standing there and looking blank-faced. So I've said male, 10, in a neutral mood. So this is what you have to mark in the given box. The characters, number of characters you have seen, their gender, age, and mood. And do it like this. I put a cross in the center of one of my circles, and that is to indicate he is the main character of my story. Main character of my story, I put a cross in the center. Psychologists will tell you what codes to use, whether to use a circle, whether to use a dot. Please listen to the briefing that the psych will give you. Follow that, but this is a method which can be used. Now, that much about the marking that you have to do. Now, next thing is about story writing. Now, friends, I would like that while you listen to me, you note down these points. This briefing is not only the briefing for PP and DT, this is the briefing I give my candidates even for TAT, Dramatic Apperception Test, which you will do in stage 2. If you follow these steps, you will always come up with a good story. And if you go wrong somewhere, you may go on a tangent. So what are the tips for correct story making? The purpose of the picture is to stimulate your mind into thinking कि मुझे क्या दिखाया गया है, and make a story out of it. And in a way, your story is reflecting your thought process, your actions, reactions, and interactions based on what you have perceived. In fact, your story is reflecting your officer-like qualities, what we talked about. So to make sure that your story is a good story, observe the picture minutely. The picture is going to be a hazy picture. Observe it minutely. If you observe the picture minutely, you will be able to relate properly with the action which is going on, the characters that you see over there, and the place and the surrounding. Even the place and surrounding. ये कहाँ है? ये शहर है, गांव है, ये सहारनपुर है, ये कानपुर है, ये भोपाल है, ये सीतापुर है. You have to visualize the action, the characters, that is the persons, and the place and the surrounding. Now, out of all the characters that you see, identify, pick up your main character, main hero, main heroine of the story. You please select. And it is not difficult. You can see from the picture that character is the central character for my story. So decide, pick up your central character. And now make a story with the central character as the central figure. And based on whatever action you saw, your theme of the story will be made. If you saw agricultural activity, agriculture will be your theme. If you saw a teacher teaching in a class, education may be your theme. If you saw soldiers are climbing a hill, a military operation will be your theme. So on and so forth. If you saw a girl was studying in a library, the fact that she's preparing for a competitive exam, which exam, how does she prepare, could be your theme. So nothing difficult in this. Make a story based on your main character, based on the action which was shown to you. The other characters, the place and the surrounding, the story should come to your mind. Select a good theme based on the picture which you have observed minutely, and make a story which is positive and meaningful. Now, what do we mean by positive and meaningful story? That my thoughts and action should move in a positive direction. The picture itself may be showing me something negative. It may be giving me a negative stimulus. For example, I may be seeing the scene of an accident. A bus has hit a cyclist. Negative stimulus. But there is my main character also standing there. He will come forward. He will give help. He may give first aid. He may take him to the hospital. He may call his parents, inform them, etc., etc. My story is moving in a positive direction. This is, my story must always go positive. And my story, by the kind of action I put into my story, it brings out good officer-like qualities. That is what we mean by making a positive and a meaningful story. If you will apply your mind, God has given you a good mind, a good imagination. If you will apply your imagination, you will be able to make stories which proceed in a positive direction and which bring out meaningful thoughts, ideas, overall good officer-like qualities. Not difficult. Your story must contain the start, we call that the origin, then the main action, central part of your story, we call that the main action, and a final outcome, that what is finally what happened. So this is the body of the story, should appear like an origin, the main action, and the final outcome. Write neatly, use the past tense. For story making, always use the past tense. And length of the story should be about 15 to 16 lines, which comes to about half a page, or maybe little less than half a page. Now friends, these tips, इनकी आप गठान बांध लीजिए, practice story making, but above all, remember that point, your stories should be positive, meaningful, complete, and they should bring out good officer-like qualities. Can you see the next picture, please?
Yes, sir.
Asha ji, has it come or is it still
Yes,
coming?
sir. Yes, sir. It is. It is.
Okay. Now, friends, here is a typical example of a hazy picture, which you will get a hazy picture in PP and DT. Now, once you get a hazy picture, you must look for certain clues which will help you, assist you in making the correct story. Now, if this picture is shown to me, for me, what are the clues? धुंधली सी तस्वीर है, कुछ हेजी मुझे नजर आ रहा है दूर, बट मुझे दो तीन बातें बड़ी साफ नजर आ रही है. एक कि देयर इज अ सिंगल कैरेक्टर इन दिस पिक्चर. दूसरा कि वो दौड़ रहा है. अब ये बंदा दौड़ रहा है तो दौड़ क्यों रहा है? कोई वजह होगी ना. मैं और आप ऐसे तो नहीं दौड़ते, ऐसे तो नहीं ना कोई दौड़ने लग जाता. तो ये दौड़ रहा. फिर उसके बाजू में एक रेलवे ट्रैक है और दूर से धुआं दिख रहा है मुझे. अब ये धुआं क्या हो सकता है? दो पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं, तीन पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं. या तो रेलवे ट्रैक है तो हो सकता है वो ट्रेन आ रही है, उसके इंजन से धुआं निकल रहा है, विच इज अ गुड पॉसिबिलिटी बिकॉज रेलवे ट्रैक है तो ट्रेन भी हो सकती है. स्मोक इंजन्स में स्मोक एमिट भी होता है. और ये आदमी उस दिशा में दौड़ भी रहा है. तो अब मुझे दो और दो जोड़ के चार बनाने हैं. What is the sense of urgency? Why is he running towards the approaching train? which is emitting the smoke. क्या इसने कहीं डैमेज ट्रैक देखा है, ट्रेन के लिए खतरा है, दौड़ के जा रहा है, what action will he take? Will he remove his shirt, wave to the engine driver, the engine driver slows down, the accident is averted? That is a possible story. The other possibility could be it is not a train, there is some fire in the distance, maybe it is a forest fire or a factory fire. He was going for his work, he saw that, and since he noticed it, he starts running. And then what did he see there, and how the fire was put off, how he got involved, how he, what actions did he take, can again be the theme of your story. So friends, in a hazy picture, what I'm trying to suggest is that look for clues. And once you have seen the clues, like why is he running? Oh, there is a railway track. Oh, there is some smoke coming out. Once you apply your reasoning correctly, you will be able to make a story which will move in the correct direction. Otherwise, you will go in some other direction and make a silly story which will not make any sense. Again, if you have any doubts about anything what I am speaking, you can please note it down and ask me in the end. Now, friends, that much about stage 1. And again, I'm repeating, there are only 2 tests, verbal and non-verbal reasoning ability, which you have to practice, you have to practice, you have to practice. You must get above 80-90% marks. And in PP and DT, you have understood that there are 3 requirements: correct picture perception and correct story making and good narration, and we can add 4th one, active participation in the group discussion. If you will do all these 4 things, you will get screened in, and you will have to be good. I'm again repeating, you will have to be high average and above in all these elements which I talked about, and nobody can stop you from being screened in. Please take your stage 1 very seriously, because without stage 1, what is the point? We are not even going to enter stage 2. Okay, friends, we now come to stage 2, that is the main SSB, and one by one, I will go over the overview of the 3 techniques. I told you right in the beginning, there are 3 techniques, there are 3 SSs. Now let us try and look at each of the 3 techniques, and let me try and emphasize the important points to you in each of those techniques. First of all, the psych technique. The psych tests are all conducted in a central hall for the whole group together, and they will take about 3 to 4 hours to be conducted, and they are all written tests. A psychologist will be conducting them, and after you have completed all your tests, your test papers will be handed over to one of the psychologists to check your psych work. So he becomes your assessor for the psych test, the psych who's handed over your sheets of paper of psych test for checking. Now let us try and see what are the tests which happen in the psych technique. The first one are called the thematic apperception test, or TAT. Now TAT is just like the PP and DT. I have just now briefed you on that. Thematic apperception test involves looking at pictures and writing stories, just the same way as you did in PP and DT. Here you will have to write 12 stories, 11 will be actual pictures, and 12th is a blank picture. On that also you have to make a story. So total 12 pictures, 12 stories, including 1 blank. You will get, each picture will be shown to you for 30 seconds, and after the picture disappears, now you will get 4 minutes to write your story. There is no title to be given. There is no box in which you have to do any marking. What you did in PP and DT, giving a title to the story, marking in the box, that is not to be done in TAT. That is why instead of 5 minutes, here you are getting 4 minutes. And what do they expect out of you? Same what I said in PP and DT, to make positive and meaningful stories. I've already covered that when I talked about PP and DT. You have to follow the same methodology and make good stories the way you did in PP and DT. Here, in fact, the pictures will be clear pictures. Like you can see the picture which I have put up. It is a clear picture. The PP and DT picture was a hazy picture. This is a clear picture. And based on this picture, again, I have to identify my main character, the place, the surrounding, what is happening, pick up a theme and make a story. For example, I can use the theme of preventing people from chopping trees and branches. That is afforestation, deforestation kind of a theme. In which case, my main character could be the male standing over here. He can be the forest ranger, who maybe he has come new to the area, but he finds that people are gleefully cutting the branches, sometimes small trees, taking them for burning purposes without seeking any permissions. And so he gets concerned and he takes some action to stop this from happening. And what all he tells the villagers, he tells them the harmful effects of what they are doing. He gives them alternatives like gas cooker, solar energy, Prime Minister's Ujjwala Yojana and things like that. And by the awareness that he creates, people stop doing it and things are normalized. That can be a theme. Somebody may pick up a theme, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Then he could be an educationist. He could be the local MLA. He could be the somebody in a position of authority where he's come. He sees that the villagers are sending the girl childs or the females not to the schools but to the fields to do menial work, to bring firewood and collect the cow dung and things like that. So then he educates them about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, new education policy, right to education, what he does for the school. He creates a new library. He ensures that government schemes of free bicycles or the computers are implemented. These things are given to the students. The villagers start sending the girls to the schools, etc., etc. We can create so many themes can be generated as long as your story is positive, meaningful, bringing out good thoughts, good ideas, overall good officer-like qualities. Your story will be acceptable. So, friends, this much about TAT. There will be 11 pictures, and now I've already explained to you about story making in PP and DT, and the same applies in TAT. And in fact, in TAT, the pictures will be blank, will not be hazy picture. They will be clear pictures. A word about the blank picture story. You may be thinking कि blank picture में क्या story बनेगी? Well, यही तो बात है. The psychologist is giving you free room to write what you want to write, which means he says, you imagine a picture in your mind, whatever you have imagined, write a story on that. So my advice to you people will be the following. Number one, boys, I'm sure in the audience there are boys and there are some girls. Boys, you please pick up male as a main character of your story. मैं blank picture की बात कर रहा हूं, मैं बाकियों की बात नहीं कर रहा. Please don't get confused. PP and DT, TAT की 11 पिक्चर हैं, आप उसी को चुनिए मेन कैरेक्टर जो लग रहा है मेन कैरेक्टर. अभी इस पिक्चर में जो मेरे सामने है, आप मेरे से सहमत होंगे कि वो मेन कैरेक्टर हम उसको ले सकते हैं, उस मेल को. It is logical. It is quite logical to take him as the main character, no harm. But there could be another picture in which instead of a male, It could have been a female in a sari. Then even the female can be the main character. ये नहीं सोचना कि मैं मेल हूं तो हमेशा मेरा मेन कैरेक्टर मेल होगा, मैं फीमेल हूं तो मेरी मेन कैरेक्टर हमेशा फीमेल होगी. No, that is not the case. Look at the picture, decide your main character. But when it comes to blank picture is like this. ये जो मेरे पीछे है, ये है blank picture. मैंने तो कुछ दिखाया ही नहीं आपको. जब मैं आपको कुछ भी नहीं दिखा रहा, I am giving you free choice, then it makes logical sense. Male pick up a male as your main character and females you pick up female as a main character. अभी ये मत पूछना सर क्यों, और क्यों की बात नहीं है. It is a natural response. It is a natural response. Do it in blank picture. Again, now we come to theme. अरे भाई, you can pick up any theme. आपके सामने अभी एक थीम है. ये देखिए, आपकी तस्वीर आपके सामने है. अभी अभी मैंने आपको थीम समझाई. You pick up any theme. You can pick up science. You can pick up adventure. You can pick up defense. You can pick up irrigation. You can pick up law. If you pick up law, maybe your main character would be an advocate or a lawyer or an attorney or something like that. And you will create a story based on some situation and what happened and how he and what he did, and that will be your story. So the theme is in your hand. If you're a good sportsman and you want to have the theme as let's say sports, athletics, cricket, football, go ahead. Then your main character can be a footballer or an athlete. If you just want to make a story on defense where your main character is an army officer, go ahead. Put him there. Where is he? What happened? What did he do? And make a story. So I'm sure you have understood that the theme is in your hand. And males pick up the male as a main character. Females, you can pick up a female as the main character. The last point I want to give about blank picture is that look, in a blank picture, do not give negative vibes. Do not give negative vibrations. Look, this is a blank picture. मैं तो आपको कुछ भी नहीं दिखा रहा हूं. और अगर मैं आपको कुछ भी नहीं दिखा रहा हूं, अब आप नेगेटिव क्यों सोच रहे हो? एक्सीडेंट हो गया, किसी ने किसी को गोली मार दी, कोई बीमार पड़ा हुआ है, कोई बड़ा गुस्से में है, कोई चोर चोरी कर रहा है, सांप किसी को काट रहा है. ये क्यों आपके दिमाग में ऐसे भयानक ख्याल क्यों आ रहे हैं? मैं तो आपको कुछ भी नहीं दिखा रहा हूं. तस्वीरों में हो सकता है, तस्वीरों में नेगेटिविटी स्टिमुलस हो सकती है. एक्सीडेंट, स्नेक बाइटिंग समवन, तो तस्वीर में हो सकता है, बट ब्लैंक पिक्चर में तो नहीं है ना. तो इसलिए ब्लैंक पिक्चर में डू नॉट गो वेरी नेगेटिव थॉट्स को अपना आधार मत बनाइए. योर स्टोरी कैन बी बाय एंड लार्ज ए पॉजिटिव ओरिएंटेड स्टोरी. अब जैसे ये स्टोरी सामने तस्वीर है, इसमें कोई नेगेटिव थॉट नहीं है, इतना हम ले सकते हैं. इसको हम कोई बहुत नेगेटिव चीज नहीं बोलेंगे कि अगर कोई वो कर रहा था तो इवन दिस काइंड ऑफ अ स्टोरी कैन बी पुट ओवर देयर. बट एक्सट्रीम नेगेटिविटी को हमें हमारी ब्लैंक पिक्चर की स्टोरी से एक्सट्रीम नेगेटिविटी या नेगेटिव वाइब्स नहीं आने चाहिए. इतना ही मैं आपको बोलना चाहूंगा. सो फ्रेंड्स, दैट मच अबाउट TAT or thematic or perception test. Make sure that your stories are complete. Time management is in your hand. If some story is incomplete and the next picture has come, put your pen down, look at the next picture, understand that, and when that goes away, those 2 lines which were left, complete, and then start writing the next story. This way you will have no backlogs and all your stories should be complete and must be complete. If you are leaving incomplete work, psychologists will get irritated with you. We come to the next test, which is called the word association test or WAT. Now, friends, in the WAT, you will be shown words. You will be shown words. There will be 60 words shown to you. Each word will come up for 15 seconds. And what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to make a positive and meaningful sentence. First thought which comes to your mind, write it down in the form of a sentence. Now, you have only one line. The sheet which will be given to you has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 60 serials. In front of each serial, there is only one line. So your sentence has to be written in one line. Short, sweet, positive, and meaningful sentence. You should try and make. Now, I've given some examples here. Let us look at these examples. Father. The word is father. Suppose I make a sentence, my father's name is Mr. Anil Kumar. Now, please understand, this is not conveying anything which is very meaningful. Are there any OLQs which are coming out? Any good qualities? No, it is just a neutral kind of a sentence. It is not conveying some good idea or some officer-like quality. But we can always make better sentences which are more thoughtful. I'm not saying the sentence is a negative sentence. It is not a negative sentence. My father's name is Mr. Anil Kumar is not a negative sentence. But why don't we try and make something more positive, less neutral? So, for example, Mahatma Gandhi is the father of our nation. Every father is the head of the family. Fathers are very caring for their children. Now, are you understanding? These sentences are more thoughtful and more meaningful as compared to my father's name is Anil Kumar. Take the word anger. Now, the word anger itself is negative. But my sentence should be positive. So, if somebody writes a sentence that in society, many people are angry. Now, is this a positive sentence? No, this is a negative sentence. In society, many people are angry. Or people are angry with the government because of this reason. These are all negative sentences. But suppose I say anger can be controlled. Everyone can learn how to control their anger. Now, this is a positive sentence. So my sentences should move toward positivity. Again, religion. So make a nice sentence like respect all religions. All religions are equal. India is a country of many religions. Now, these are all positive and meaningful sentences. So friends, our effort should always be to try and make positive and meaningful sentences. Keep that in mind. Now, some of the things which we should avoid in WAT, which we should avoid. Avoid borrowed ideas. Do not mug up sentences from guidebooks. वो सबने देखे हुए हैं. And do not use quotations too often. Quotations are not your original idea. Don't use them too often. 4, 5, 2, 3 quotations, 3, 4 quotations, fine. But don't keep saying quotations and quotations after quotation. 2, 3 times it is okay. So avoid borrowed ideas, avoid quotations, then avoid making sentences with I. Don't make sentences with I. Main, me. Don't do that. That shows you're very self-centered. Don't be that self-centered. Make general sentences. Avoid I, me. And avoid advisory sentences. Every time you should not be advising, sermoning. So avoid advisory sentences. Now, what do I mean by advisory sentences? Now, take a typical example. I say friends should be faithful. My sentence is friends should be faithful. It's a positive and a meaningful sentence, but it is advisory. Suppose I say friends are faithful. Friends are faithful. Now this is no longer a advice. It is positive, it is meaningful, and it is not a advice. So this way, avoid advisory sentences and make action-oriented sentences, which are positive and meaningful, which I've already told you. Our sentences come from the environment around us. They should be easy to understand and relate to. And it is not a difficult test. You should be able to handle it with practice. As far as the number of attempts, you should be able to attempt maximum WATs. I would say, I would give you a target 55 good quality WATs. ठीक है, 4, 5, 6 आपसे नहीं हुए, no problems. But quantity wise, your target should be कि ठीक है मैंने सब करने हैं, 4-5 छूट गए कोई बात नहीं, but 55 के आसपास you should be able to do good quality WATs. So that much about the word association test. And why it is called word association? They are trying to see what thought are you associating with that word. That is why word association. And your thought should be in the right direction, in the positive direction, and it should bring out good, meaningful thoughts and ideas. We come to the next test, and that is the SRT, or the situation reaction test. Here you will be given a handout or a booklet containing 60 situations. And you will be given 30 minutes to complete this test. I've given you some examples of SRTs. You are traveling in a train and at night you find your luggage is missing. You will dash, 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 dash. You are walking along a canal and suddenly you see a small boy is drowning. You will dash, 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 dash. And what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to give your response, for which you will be provided with a sheet of a answer sheet in which there will be 2 lines to write your response. You have 2 lines to write your response. So, what are the points you should keep in mind? That your responses should be such that it shows that whatever action is required to be done, you know that, and you are ready to take that action, which means you are ready to take the initiative, assume the responsibility, and do what is required to be done in the given situation. That is what the test is all about. And there are only 2 lines. There is no third line. So you will have to write in a very cryptic language and do this test. For example, you are traveling in a train and at night you find your luggage is missing. So when something is missing, what is the first reaction? My first reaction should be, bhai, kahan gaya? You will, maybe some other passenger must have put it somewhere in the next, अपना सामान रखने के लिए उसने आपके सामान को कहीं और. So you should first search for it or look for it. And if it is not found, then you will report to the railway police, the TT, and maybe even lodge a FIR when you get down at the railway station. So this way your responses should be the correct response, and it should be a complete response, and it should be practically sensible. That is all that is required. The test is not difficult. If you have good knowledge of the environment and surrounding, and you know what is expected to be done and what you should be doing, then there is no problem in this test. But the only problem in this test, the big problem in this test is the 30 minutes for 60 SRTs. You are under immense pressure of time. And you will have to be very, very fast in this test. And otherwise, you will not be able to complete the 60 SRTs. You may just land up doing 30, 40 SRTs. Has everybody understood this point? Okay. So this is important, the time management. Otherwise, the test is a simple test, but practice it, and I'm sure you will be able to do maximum SRTs. My advice to you is try and do about at least 45 to 50 good SRTs you should be able to do in 30 minutes. With practice, it is possible. Very good candidates even do more than 50. I've seen candidates even completing. But if you have been able to do 45 to 50 good quality SRTs, I would be quite happy with you. We go to the next test, and that is called this is the last psych test, and this is called the self-description. Well, friends, in this, you have to write down about yourself. You have to describe yourself in 5 paragraphs. And these 5 paragraphs are parents' opinion about you, teachers' opinion about you, classmates or friends' opinion about you, your self-opinion, and the qualities that you would like to develop further in yourself. These are the 5 paragraphs which you have to write. Length is 2 pages, and time given to you will be 15 minutes. Now, this is something which you would have prepared before going for the SSB. You should be able to do it within 15 minutes because ये तो आप पहले से practice करके गए हो और आपको बैठ के तसल्ली के साथ एक अच्छी SD बनानी, self description बनाना. Now remember, nobody can sort of advise you what to write because your SD has to come from your heart and your mind. It has to be based on what you are, what your family is, what your teachers perceived about you, what did you actually do in your studies, what did you do in the other fields like games, sports, and extracurricular, what is your friend circle, your social group like. So every individual is a different individual. पांचों उंगलियां बराबर नहीं होती हैं और हमारी SD बनाना हमारे अपने हाथ में है. But it has to come from your heart and your mind. And you should not be expecting anyone to tell you what to write in SD. One thing I will certainly advise you, do not refer to guide books for SD. आप SD को guide books से मत चुराइए. आप अपनी खुद की SD लिखिए और यहां वहां से SD को मत उठाइए. To write your own SD, first prepare your PIQ, personal information questionnaire. We'll come to that in the interview technique. Put your PIQ next to you. आपको खुद पता है आपकी फैमिली किस किस्म की फैमिली है, मिडिल क्लास है, हायर इनकम ग्रुप है, वर्किंग क्लास फैमिली है, बिजनेस क्लास फैमिली है, आपके घर का एनवायरनमेंट क्या है, आप सब घर में क्या करते हो, आपको पता है. आपके PIQ में आपने अपने स्टडीज के बारे में सब कुछ लिखा है. If you have done well in studies, your teachers would have thought good about you in studies. So write that they were impressed with you. If you have participated in games, sports, extracurricular, mention that. If they gave you positions of responsibility, you can mention that. So what I'm essentially trying to say is that prepare your PIQ form, keep your PIQ form next to you, understand yourself, your family, what exactly you've done in life, and then make your SD. Look within yourself, what are the qualities in you which you would like to highlight, your strengths, your achievements, and put them down in the given paragraphs, and you will be able to produce a nice working self-description of 2 pages. Do not expect anyone to guide you or to spoon feed you into making of SD. And again, I'm cautioning you, Do not pick up SDs from internet or from the guidebook. You must have the ability to sit down, think rationally, put yourself over there, put your life around you, look at your PIQ and write what your parents think about you, what your teachers thought about you, what your friends and classmates think about you. What do you think about yourself as a person, as a son, a daughter, a student, a friend? What are my good qualities? What are the hobbies, the interests I have? What are my passions? What are my ambitions? Think through, and you will be able to create a good SD. As far as qualities to be developed further are concerned, pick up 2-3 things which you feel you need to improve to make your personality even better. Write positive things and not negative things. Positive things like, I would like to improve my communication skills, current affairs, general knowledge. I would like to build up more stamina. I would like to participate more in games and sports. I would like to develop reading as a hobby. Now, these are all positive areas of improvement. And don't start writing negative things. We are all socially intelligent people. We know what Lakshman Rekha, kya hame likhna hai, kya nahi likhna hai. So write those things which you genuinely feel you need to develop a little more. And if you develop them a little more, I gave you some examples, you will evolve and develop your personality more. The paragraphs should be written as full paragraphs. They should be equal in length. The last paragraph can be a bit shorter. Qualities to be developed further. And no sub-paragraphing, no bullets and numbering. The paragraph should be written as a full paragraph. ये आप बैठ के तसल्ली से लिखिए, मजा नहीं आता उसको फाड़ के फेंक दीजिए, दोबारा लिखिए till you are satisfied that you have ultimately produced the SD which is you and not picked up from a guidebook or from a borrowed from somewhere else. Now friends, that brings us to the end of the psych technique. We will now proceed towards the GTO technique, and thereafter we have to cover the interview technique. So Asha ji, can we take just a 2 minutes break, a glass of water?
Sure, sir, sure.
So we will have exactly a 3 minutes break and then I will be back. Okay, okay friends?
Sure, sir.
Others can also have a glass of water, those who are waiting for it. So a 3 minutes break and I'll be back automatically after 3 minutes. See you.
Sure, sir. For all those participants who are raising their hands, I request you to please put down your questions or any doubts in the chat box or in the question answer box, because it's not possible for us to ask the resource, stop the resource person in between and ask your questions. So it would be better if you put your questions in the chat box.
Any क्या हो गया? Internet issue at sir's end?
No, sir has taken a 2 to 3 minutes break.
Oh, break. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I was just asking the participants. There were a few participants who were raising their hands in between. So I just told them to write their questions.
Yeah, there are.
We cannot interrupt, sir, in between.
Yeah. Asha, you have already. There are certain questions which are there. I'm
Yes,
sure.
sir, there are questions. Yes, sir. Some of the questions must have been answered by sir, because
yes, that's why I was thinking that बीच में रोकने का मतलब ही नहीं है, because there are so many things students don't even know. And one thing that I have also written in this is the 4 important qualities that I have written for them: positive attitude, confidence, leadership qualities. And leadership does not mean dadagiri. Leadership means how you can motivate your group and communication skill. That's why I keep saying read newspaper every day. Read newspaper every day. And another thing which sir has added is listen to the news. You are wanting to, if you feel that your English is not very good, I've been telling you, it is how you communicate your idea. It is not a very, very good English that anybody is looking at. They are wanting your communication skills, your capability of explaining your point of view to whosoever you are talking. So these are very, very important things to be noted down, which sir is bringing out. And these tests and all, guys, you will go to a coaching center. I don't say don't go to a coaching center, but if you have been attentive during what sir's presentation is, you don't even know, you don't even don't require to go to any coaching center. He's explaining things in such simple terms that we just have to build upon these things. These are, somebody put a question that how can officer-like qualities be developed? Yes, they can be developed. I can change my attitude. I may be a negative type of a person. See what he told you about the words, anger, father, how to make a positive sentence on that, how to make a positive story on that. So that is attitude. And we have to have a very, very positive attitude in life, particularly why armed forces? Why armed forces? Anywhere, any job that you go, you need to have a very positive attitude. So I'm sure this is not only going to help join the armed forces, it is this type of selection system is one of the finest in the world. Let me tell you, one of the finest system in the world. And I was told there were times in early 80s when people who were selected for SSB, they were being contacted by private companies immediately that army pay and allowances are this much, we will give you this much, you come and join, because they knew that this person has gone through a very, very intricate process of selection. So one of the finest selection systems. And remember what he said, last 50 years, it is unchanged. So it goes to show what quality of selection system has been developed. So good. I'm sure he's going to come back.
We have a participant, Pratibha Gaur. She's raising her hand. Pratibha, if you could unmute yourself. Sir, do the participants have the option of unmuting themselves?
Not now, Asha. Sir has come. Let us go ahead. Let us go ahead.
So we'll keep the question answers for the end.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right, friends. We have time up to 1 o'clock, and okay, it is 12:05 already. So okay, just we'll hurry up a little bit because I should keep a little time for the question answers also. Okay. Now, friends, coming on to the GTO technique, I'll go a little quickly because I think we are just about 10 minutes behind time. Right. In the GTO series of tests, you will be a part of a group. The size of the group will be 8 to 10 candidates. And you will be under a GTO for 2 morning sessions. On the first day, the first test to be conducted is the group discussion. He will give you 2 GDs. He will conduct 2 GDs for you. Duration of each GD will be 20 minutes. Common topics, general current affairs and GK is particularly important. You should prepare a range of topics so that you go well organized for GD. In the first GD, he will give you a choice of 2 topics. Please advise your group as to which topic should be taken. And then go with the group, whatever everybody decides. And in the next GD, there will be no choice. He will just give you one topic and you will discuss that. Principles to be followed so that you perform well in the GD are active participation, taking initiative, being one of the first few speakers. Don't keep waiting till the end. Come in early. If you're not the first speaker, try and be the second, third speaker. Thereafter, active participation, display abundant knowledge and good reasoning abilities. In a discussion, your logic should be very clear to the others. Have good facts, figures, data, and statistics with you. Convey that. Agree and disagree very politely with others. Use sober language. Don't say, I disagree with you. Say, I beg to differ. I'm sorry, I have a different point of view. Show adaptability, show cooperation, show good manners, good etiquettes. Don't say, I disagree, I don't agree. No, that's a harsh language. Say, I beg to differ. I'm sorry, I have a different point on this. I partially agree with you. You can use these kind of techniques. Again, do not interrupt when somebody is speaking. But if you are feeling compelled to interrupt someone, at least have the courtesy to say, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. And now if somebody is interrupting when you are speaking, you can always put a stop to that by saying, please allow me to finish. Please allow me to finish. So friends, these are the techniques you can use as far as the tactics part is concerned. Again, as far as body language is concerned, you can see how they are sitting. They are sitting in a full circle. Maintain good eye contact. Address the whole group. Do not lock horns with one person. Address the whole group. And when you are not speaking, listen to the person who's speaking. Remember, it's a group discussion. Give chance to others. Have your cake and let others have their piece of cake. A good group discussion comes from knowledge, communication skills, self-confidence, and team spirit. The next task is the group planning exercise. You can see how they are sitting in a semicircle. There is a ground model on which the exercise setting is being explained by the GTO. A narrative is issued, which is a story form. In that story form, you're a group of students or NCC cadets or people going from here to there, and suddenly you encounter some problems, you face some situations, and you have to identify the problems, you have to look at the resources which are available, and then go about creating solutions to the problems that you have perceived. Take your mind back to OLQs. See how beautifully the first 3 OLQs are coming out in the group planning exercise. First OLQ is effective intelligence, that is handling of situations, solving of problems. The second OLQ is reasoning ability. To solve problems, you will have to use your reasoning ability. The third OLQ is organizing ability. To solve the problems, you will visualize the resources, you will assume what is available and utilize them. See how beautifully the 3 OLQs are coming out, and more OLQs will come out. So you will be in a kind of a narrative or a story form where you are going from place A to place B, and you come across some problems. Problems can be like accident, somebody is injured. Robbers are planning to rob a bank. Some militants are planning to blow up a bomb. Somebody has removed the fish plates on a railway track. Children were going in a boat, the boat is drifting away. Somebody has got kidnapped. So these are the kind of problems which you will try and do something. You will inform the police, you will do something on your own, you will seek the help of the locals, you will visualize what are the resources and see how beautifully your practical intelligence, your reasoning abilities, and your organizing abilities will come out. More on this, because it is an exercise in itself. It takes about 45 minutes there in the SSB, but more on this, friends, you will have to catch up by practicing some group planning exercises from guidebooks or from the internet. because there's a whole lot of briefing required to be done for this, which we cannot do in a overview kind of a situation. So you will, I'm sure you will catch it up on your own. Important exercise, do well. It involves two things. Firstly, he will tell you to write down your individual work and solutions. So there's a written work to be done. And number two is a group discussion. Here also, a group discussion will be generated after your written work is over, where you will discuss amongst each other what are the problems, what are the resources, what are your solutions. Here again, the aim is to come to a common group solution. So please do well in the written part and please do well in the group discussion part. Next is the progressive group tasks. Progressive group tasks are tasks to be performed on the ground. Now, what is a group task or a progressive group task? Basically, the task area has got a start line, a finish line. Those of you who are interested must have seen several YouTube videos on this. There are so many YouTube videos. You must go there, visit those sites and look at the videos. So there is a start line, there is a finish line, and there are some structures in between. The group is expected to proceed from the start line, go over the structures in the task area and cross the finish line, for which you can use help of each other, and he will also provide you helping material. Helping material is normally in the form of planks, bullies, and ropes. Here, you must look up these things in the YouTube, because you may not be having a very good idea of how to make use of the planks, how to make use of the rope, how to make use of the rope, the bully, and what really to do on the ground. By looking at the videos, you will get a very good idea. Some of the coaching academies are there who also have got the facilities to do this. Well, it is up to you. If you want to use that experience, you can do it. Even videos are good enough for this. The candidates who come to me for my online, offline, whatever, I make use of the videos and show it to them. And it is very easy to understand what do we mean by making a bridge or a cantilever or making a knot. So these things you will understand only when you will visit the sites and look at certain videos. There will be 4 PGTs to be done. And the first PGT will be very simple. The second will be little more difficult, then more difficult, most difficult. The GTO will tell you exactly how much time is he giving to the group and what is the helping material which he is allowing to be used. So you people will understand, you will listen to the briefing, understand the task, take the helping material, understand how much time is available, and then start doing the work. Now you will agree with me that you will first have to plan, give ideas to each other, speak, discuss, and constantly keep speaking and helping each other throughout the task. This is what we call the concept of Mansa, Vacha, and Karmana, what I told you. He will be actively observing, is your mind working? Are you coming up with the correct ideas? Are you sharing the idea with the friends? Are you speaking? What is your contribution? What is your group effectiveness in the given task? And how much are you working with your hands and limbs and helping others and holding others and pulling something, pushing something? Everything will be observed. The concept of your Mansa at play, Vacha at play, and Karmana at play can very easily be seen by the GTO in front of his own eyes on the ground when he starts making you do the 4 progressive group tasks. There are certain rules to be followed. I shall not go into those details here. It is beyond the scope of today's presentation, but you can see they are available in videos. The rules are group rule, color rule, distance rule, rule of rigidity, rule of infinity, and so on. Please try and understand these through videos and make sure that you listen properly to the orders and instructions and you follow them and you do not break any rules. I told you in the beginning, do not try and do tasks by hook or crook. Do not be indisciplined. If he is telling you Red cannot be touched. Some surface which is painted red, it is out of bound. Now you are constantly touching red. He's telling you that you cannot put the helping material on blue, but you are constantly doing it. You know that ground is not to be touched, but you are touching the ground. Then he will feel you are a very careless person or you are an indisciplined person. So friends, please follow the rules and use your mind and body and limbs, and you will do well in these tasks. Next is a group obstacle race. It is a competitive race between groups. It is also called the snake race. You will be holding a snake-like object over your shoulders and running and crossing 6 obstacle systems. I will show you the photographs a little later. Here you can see it is a women's badge. There are 3 groups. They are participating in a group obstacle race. They are competing with each other, and they are at the moment crossing the double wall with a bully. I will show you the photographs a little later. In this race, you will be participating with a lot of josh, physical josh, and there'll be a lot of shouting. You also can do it. Encourage your friends, help them. You make the correct use of the correct person. How to use a tall man, how to use a short, what to do with a short person. Somebody who's strong, what all can he do? Somebody who's weak needs help, so help him. But above all, be very physically, show the GTO that you are physically robust and mentally robust, and you are participating with full josh and helping the others and going along with the group in trying to win the race. There will be 6 obstacles to be crossed, and I will show it to you in certain photographs after this. There is a half group task to be done, just like the PGTs. Now the group is divided into 2 subgroups. If there were 10 people, now they will be divided into 2 subgroups of 5 and 5. There's only one HG to be done. One by one, the 2 subgroups will do it. They do not watch each other. They do it separately. Now there are lesser number of people. GTO can see you better and you get a better chance to perform. Otherwise, the rules to be followed and the things to be done and the helping material to be used and so on and so forth is exactly what you did in PGTs. Same thing, same principles, same rules, except that group has been divided into 2 subgroups. The next task that you will do is a lecturate. GTO will call you and ask and give you a card containing 4 topics. Current affairs and GK becomes important here also. And you will select one of the topics. You will get 3 minutes to prepare, go on to a site, collect your thoughts, and then come after 3 minutes, stand in front of the group like this person is standing and give the lecture to your group. Friends, be sensible in selecting the topic, select the correct topic in which you have confidence, and the basic principles to be followed. Number 1, when you come and stand there, stand in a Vishram position. Your hands can be behind your back, and preferably do not use hand gestures. Avoid hand gestures. Let your hands be behind your back. Vishram position is a good position to adopt. Speak from your mouth. Do not use hand gestures. Have good eye contact and address the whole group. And speak loud and clear because it is an outdoor activity. You should be audible. There is no need to shout, but you should be loud, audible. Your voice should be well modulated and interesting. A point I would like to mention is about organizing your lecture and thoughts. Please divide your lecture into the following. Very important. Please divide your lecture into the following: introduction, main body, and conclusion. Introduction can be for 15 seconds. Main body can be for about 2.5 minutes, and conclusion can be for 15 seconds. When I say 15 seconds, it could be 15-20 seconds. But please organize your lecture in a good sequence. Don't just keep randomly speaking whatever is coming to your mind. For example, if I have to give a lecture on global warming and environment protection. The sequence can be definition of global warming, causes, effects, and preventive measures. So I have organized my lecture in this sequence, which is a logical sequence and a good presentation. What is global warming? Causes, effects, and preventive measures. You will agree with me, it's a good sequence, and this way you should follow a logical sequence. Give a good introduction, strong introduction, so that everybody gets impressed right in the beginning. It can start something like this. Good morning, friends. The topic of my lecturate is the new education policy for India. Nelson Mandela said, education is the best weapon with which you can empower a nation. Recently, our government has also announced the new vision document called the Education Policy 2020. Now, friends, I've just given a 15 seconds introduction. I even used a quotation. Have a strong, nice, catchy introduction. Then you go to the main body. I've already explained to you. And then you come to the conclusion, in which finally you must give your summary of in 15-20 seconds and conclude your lecture. And always say, friends, in conclusion, friends, to conclude, and then say whatever you wish to say and finish your lecture. A good lecture again will come from knowledge, good communication skills, and self-confidence. It's a solo activity. You should do very well in your lecture. We come to the next. Now, normally, friends, on the first day, the GTO will finish till here. The GTO will finish till here on the first day. On the second day, early in the morning, when your body is fresh, you will be made to do the individual obstacles. And there will be 10 individual obstacles for boys and 7 for the girls. You have to be fairly physically fit to do them, and you will be given 3 minutes to do them. If you can complete all your individual obstacles before 3 minutes, you can repeat, and any obstacle which you repeat, you will get bonus points. I will show you the photographs of individual obstacles just after this. The next task is called the command task. This is the only task in the GTO series where you, from the beginning, are detailed as a commander. The GTO will first call you forward. He will do some rapport building. He will ask you your name, where have you come from, do your self-introduction, and then he will take you to the command task, show you the task, brief you about the task, tell you what is the helping material available, and how much time is he allowing for the task. He will also tell you how many subordinates you can call for the task. Suppose he tells you you can call 2 subordinates, then you can pick up any two members of your group to come forward and act as your subordinates. Once they come and report to you, show them the task, tell them what is in your mind, what is your plan like, and then start getting the work executed by them. Behave like a commander, get the work done by them, and in case you need to go forward to assist them, please do it. You can also help them with your hands. And once the GTO is through with it, he will stop you. Then you please thank the group, get the helping material placed outside neatly, and then thank the group and thank the GTO, and you can leave the place. So in this is the only task in which you will be detailed as a leader or a commander. You must, your subordinates must address you as commander, and you will address them by their chest numbers. You can also see some videos on the command tasks, and you will be able to understand as to exactly how things happen over there. When you are doing your task, the GTO is likely to put pressure on you. He may take away one of your subordinates. He may close a particular path for you. He may say, "Aapka phatta toot gaya hai, balli toot gayi hai. 2 rasse the, ek maine wapas le liya." He will put pressure. I told you, liveliness. You should be able to tolerate the pressure and carrying on doing the task in a cheerful manner. The last task in the GTO series is the final group task. In the FGT, this is just like the PGTs that you did and the HGT that you did. Nothing to add from my side. This is the last opportunity. Whole group is back together once again. So please try and do well in this final group task. And this is where the GTO series of 9 tasks will end, which happens over 2 days. Some photographs I would like to share with you. Can you see the photographs, Asha ji?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. We can see the photographs.
Okay. Presently, I am sharing the photographs of the individual obstacles. This is the zigzag beam or the balancing beam. Please maintain your balance. Make sure that the shoes that you have taken have got good grips. Good grips. They are not slippery. This is the ramp and a screen jump. Nothing difficult. Even girls do it. This is the Burma Bridge, parallel ropes. You have to walk sideways as this boy is doing. This is the Tarzan swing. The Ustad will hand over the rope. You have to take a swing. That is why it is called Tarzan swing, and land in the prescribed area. There will be a white line. You have to just land across that. Nothing difficult. For girls, this is optional. In Army SSB, girls के लिए optional है. My advice is do it. It is not difficult. You should have good arm strength for this. This is the double ramp. Very simple. Climb onto the higher ramp. From there, jump to the lower ramp and then jump into the sand pit. Very simple. This is the double ditch. This is the double ditch. There are 2 ditches. First ditch has got a rope hanging in the center. Go across that and then jump across the second ditch. YouTube videos are available where you can physically see these things happening. So I don't have to cover much on this. This is the commando walk. Please don't show any physical fear. It is not difficult. Height is not much. There is no need to be fearful. Please do it confidently. And this is the tiger leap. You will stand on top of the platform, jump onto the rope, catch the rope and come down. There is a technique to do it. Look up the videos and please use both your hands and feet whenever you are doing vertical rope or coming down from a rope. Few photographs about the snake race. You can see the snake they are holding in their hands. One of the obstacles they are crossing, double bar. This is a spider web. Please help your friends, encourage them, follow the rules. Double wall with a bully. You saw this earlier also. There is one which is a single vertical wall. I do not have that photograph here. One of these walls, you can take it as a single vertical wall. So that becomes another obstacle. And this is a ramp and a slide. Go up the ramp and slide down from the ramp. Friends, please carry your dresses. As you can see, you have to carry these dresses. They will all be part of your call-up letter. Either you can carry 2 dresses so that if the first dress gets dirty on the first day, either you will have to wash it, or then you will, or if you are already carrying a second dress, then you can wear the second dress. Please wear your chest number properly. It should not get loose or it should not kind of fall down from your shoulders. Please wear your chest number properly. Now, friends, that much about the GTO technique. And there are lots and lots of material available on the YouTube as far as the GTO technique is concerned. because there is a ground aspect to it, which unfortunately we cannot do in a online class like this. My advice is go to the YouTube, see good videos on all the things, PGTs and command tasks and the individual obstacles, and you will get so much of knowledge and real-time information, and you will actually be able to make use of that information and apply that on the ground when you go to the SSB. But if you have any questions, you can ask me later. Finally, we come to the interview technique, friends. So, Asha ji, are we finishing sharp at 1 or we can go 10-15 minutes beyond?
Sir, very flexible, sir, flexible.
Okay, I think ठीक है. तो मैंने कहा कहीं आपके पास वो वेब टाइम नहीं हो.
No, sir, go ahead.
Okay, fine. Then I'll go over it deliberately. We may go cross by 20 minutes or so. Okay. Now, friends, coming to the interview technique, which is the last technique I'm covering. You will be interviewed either by the president or the deputy president. The first thing I want to make it clear is no difference, does not matter. कुछ लोग कहते हैं अरे वो उसके पास गए थे वो recommend हो गए, वो उसके पास गए थे वो recommend नहीं हुए. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. They are both following the same method, the same procedure, which I will explain to you. So don't have an issue कि मेरा उसके पास है उसके पास है. That is beyond your control. So your interview will be either by the president or the deputy president or an additional interviewing officer posted in the SSB. They are all very elderly people, very mature, very sensible, and they will put you at ease. And I am putting you at ease by telling you they will put you at ease while interviewing you. Your interview can happen on the first day, second day, third day, depending on your chess number and your turn, and you will know when your interview is there, and you will reach there in time, dressed up properly for your interview, and you will be waiting in the waiting room. When your turn will come, you will go into his office and the interview will start, and that is how the interview happens. Now, like all other assessors, this assessor, the interviewing officer, is also trying to evaluate your personality. We call it the evaluation interview. He's trying to evaluate your personality in the form of officer-like qualities. And for that, he will be speaking to you about everything under the sky. आपके लाइफ के सारे फेसेट्स के बारे में वो बातचीत आपके साथ करने वाला है. I have been an interviewing officer myself. I have interviewed thousands of candidates in the SSB and thousands after that who come to me. Now his job is to talk to you. His technique is based on the Vacha technique to get things out of you by communication, one-to-one, interpersonal, instant communication. So this is a very instant technique where everything happens right there, and there's a two-way process, two-way communication channel between the interviewer and the interviewee. And this way he will speak to you about all facets of your life, which we will come to, and gather all the information that he needs from you, about you, and this will create knowledge about you and your officer-like qualities. He will be able to evaluate your OLQs, what we talked about. Now let us look at the structure before that. Before that, the first thing is I want to talk about is the PIQ, or the Personal Information Questionnaire. You'll be made to fill up 3-4 copies of PIQ. One will be in the office, one will be with the interviewing officer, and even Psych has got a copy of your PIQ. PIQ form is available on the internet. Please have a look. I'm sure you have already had a look. I will not go into details about it, but these are the kind of details which will be there, which you will be filling up as part of your PIQ form. What are given on the slide over here. If anybody has got any doubts, you can ask me. Specific doubts about yourself with respect to PIQ, कि सर मैं क्या लिखूं, मैंने ये किया है, आप मुझे बाद में पूछ लें. But these are the details which you will be required to put. In addition to all this, if you have already also been a part of NCC, there is a column for that. So you'll be giving the details about what you did in NCC. And there is also something about your height and weight, which is also there. May not be mentioned here. So your PIQ may contain a few more details than what I have put over here, but these are the basic details that you will be putting. The importance of the PIQ form, very, very important. Before he calls you inside, he will read your PIQ form. He will see how you have prepared it. Please make sure that your PIQ form is filled up correctly, completely, and neatly. Your PIQ form must contain good details about you. Your PIQ form has to be thoughtfully prepared. Your PIQ form is a reflection of you. So even before calling you inside, he gets an idea about you from your PIQ form, and hence the importance of the PIQ form. Please prepare it well. Now, after reading your PIQ form, he will call you inside. And after calling you inside, he will first do some friendly chit-chatting with you. We call that building rapport with the candidate. In this friendly chit-chatting with you, which will be just for a minute or so, he may ask you the following. Please note down. He may ask you the following. You may like to note this down. The meaning of your name, how you relate yourself and personality with your name, the place you belong to, something about that, your district, your city, the journey that you have performed while coming to the selection center, कैसे आए हो, कैसी थी जर्नी, ट्रेन में कौन मिला आपको, ट्रेन जर्नीज आपको क्यों अच्छी लगती है, something about the place you have gone to. You may like to see how curious you are. आप इलाहाबाद में आए हो, क्या कुछ इलाहाबाद के बारे में जानकारी है आपको, या बैंगलोर या देहरादून. Then he may ask you about how you have performed in the other tests so far. This he may or may not ask. It is his individual choice. Normally, I never used to ask because I did not want to be biased. But he may ask you, "Bhai, abhi tak sab theek chal raha hai? How have you performed in your other tasks or tests?" He may ask. I am sure you will have something positive to tell. Or he may ask you, "Are you comfortable? Barracks mein sab theek hai? How's the food? How's the accommodation? How many friends have you made?" And so on. So friends, this rapport building he's doing for a minute or 2 minutes to make you settle down into your chair and to breathe easy and to feel normal, so that he then starts with the main interview. But the rapport building is important. Go in with confidence, with a smile on your face, sit properly, and the rapport building, whatever he's asking you, give brief answers, but confident answers. And at this stage, having seen your PIQ and done this much rapport with you, you should have left a good impression on him. Even before the main interview is starting, you have already created a favorable environment for yourself by having filled up a good PIQ, by walking in smartly, properly dressed and turned out, and by building a good rapport with him. You should make a very good initial impact even before he starts the formal things. Now we come to the formal part of the interview. Now,
sir, may I just ask one question, sir?
Yes, please.
Because what you have mentioned to them is that they must be properly dressed and they will be called in the office and all. I remember, sir, my interview was conducted while my GTO tasks were being held. I was in my T-shirt and knickers, and I was interviewed there, sir.
Very good. Very good. Good point. General Praveen has drawn my attention to. What happens is, because they're always short of time in the SSB, the poor SSRs are very hard pressed. So what they do is, the first 1 or 2 boys or girls whose interview is there, they may come directly from the GTO ground in the same dress. But since every interview takes 45 minutes, so beyond that, beyond the first 1 or 2 candidates, others are given a chance to go to their room, have a wash, change their clothes and come. But General Praveen is absolutely right. If you are one of the first 1s or 2s to be interviewed after your GTO test, you may land up in your shorts and T-shirt like he did. No problems. No problem. No problem. Even if your short and t-shirt have got dirty and on the ground and all, he will not take it amiss because that is not your fault. Okay, friends. Now we come to the main interview. So now I'm not interviewing a candidate as such. Is that correct, Asha ji? कोई candidate तो नहीं है interview के लिए?
Sir, it will be difficult.
हाँ,
It
वो
will be very
interpersonal
difficult
हो नहीं
because to
पाएगा.
pick up from about 200 people, suddenly one person. But you can give an idea, sir, and then they can go ahead, sir.
Okay, fine. So I'll give the idea. उसके लिए मैंने वो separate वो भी रखा है इसके बाद में. Okay, friends. First, let me give you the idea about the structure of the interview. Now, friends, the interview for any normal candidate who is not in a job so far is covered in 3 parts. What I have put CIQ 1, 2, and 3. The first part relates with your educational background, education, and the other associated things that you've done in school and college. What these are, I shall come to it separately. First, try and understand the sequence and the structure. So the first part of the interview is education and associated aspects, things that you've done in school and college. The next part deals with your home and family and other associated aspects of your social life. Home, family, social life, even friends, and so on. The third part deals with your hobbies, interests, and spare time activities. As a continuation of this part, the interviewing officer will also ask you a package of current affairs and general knowledge questions. And after current affairs and general knowledge, we have virtually come to the end of the interview. In the end, he asks you to do your own self-evaluation and motivation. What motivation means? What is motivating you to join the armed forces? Now, naturally, you must be wondering, what is he going to ask in all these parts? Sir ने वो तो बताया नहीं, तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ आगे चल. Right now, I am only covering the structure of the interview, which started with rapport building with you. Part 1 dealing with your education, part 2 dealing with your home and family and social life, and part 3 dealing with your hobbies, interests, and spare time activities. In fact, all these details you have also put in your PIQ. Education पूरा भरा है आपका PIQ, 10th से लेके आगे तक. होम फैमिली के बारे में आपने मेंशन किया हुआ है. हॉबीज, इंटरेस्ट, स्पेयर टाइम एक्टिविटीज आपने बताई हुई है. PIQ में ये सब है. बट अब वो ऑन ग्राउंड आपको इन चीजों के बारे में बातचीत आपसे करने वाला है इंटरव्यू के दौरान. Now, and after all this is over, he will finally close the interview. Okay, thank you very much. And then you will leave. You will greet him and leave his premises. And that is how the interview is going to happen. Now, the average time taken for an interview is 45 minutes in the SSB. Normally, the first part, that is the education, is the longest part of the interview because it is quite lamba, and it is quite, we will come to it because it is quite lamba and quite important also. Normally, this is the longest part of the interview. The second part, home, family, and social life, can take about 15 minutes. And the third part, your other hobbies, interests, spare time activities, and current affairs and GK, can take another about 10 minutes. Now, friends, this is not sacrosanct. It is not कि ऐसा ही चलेगा, but broadly आप इसको एक थंब रूल बना लेंगे, ऐसा ही होगा ब्रॉडली. अब किसी केस में लेफ्ट राइट हो सकता है, थोड़ा वहां टाइम ज्यादा ले लिया, उधर कम ले लिया, वो भी पॉसिबल. बट द एवरेज टाइम टेकन फॉर ए इंटरव्यू इज 45 मिनट्स. लेकिन मैं आपको यहाँ एक चीज और बता देता हूँ. एक गुड इंटरव्यू मीन्स कि अब वो कैंडिडेट को उसने रेकमेंड करना है, जनरली 45 मिनट्स और 1 घंटे के बीच में चलता है. इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि आप 45 मिनट्स में बाहर आ गए तो आपको डिसअपॉइंट होना चाहिए. नो, यू मे हैव बीन सो गुड दैट ही इज सो क्लियर इन हिज माइंड that he has, yeah, good, candidate is good, yaar. Jo maine dekhna tha, dekh liya. Very good. So don't fall into any trap. What happens is, because he's still trying to decide, make up his mind, sometimes the interview may stretch to even 1 hour. काफी कॉमन है, काफी इंटरव्यूज 1 घंटा चलते हैं. Say more than 50% interviews go up to 1 hour also. But you can take it that the average time is 45 minutes. Now, friends, one thing I want to mention before I go to tips for interview, and that is, in case you're already in a job, presently you're already in a job, or you're doing your own business where you're earning money, which means you're in a profession, or you may be an understudy to an advocate, or you may have already opened up your own small venture of law or consultancy, which means you're already in a job, in a profession. Then there is a column in PIQ form, your present occupation. Then you will be filling up that you are in an occupation and your monthly salary. The moment you fill that, which means you're already in a job, then your interview's first part will be the present service, experience and profile, whatever you are doing. Which means now your interview, if you're already in a job or in a profession, instead of 3 parts which are shown here, your interview will happen in 4 parts. Which will be the first part, that what your present job and profession is. I am sure this point is clear, but for 90% candidates who are not in a job, it follows this methodology which I have told you. Even if the interview is done in 4 parts, he will still try and finish it in 45 to 50 minutes. कभी कभी वो इंटरव्यू थोड़ा लंबा हो जाता है, क्योंकि उसमें भाई ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन लेनी पड़ती है. 3 पार्ट्स की जगह वो 4 पार्ट्स में हो रहा है, तो वो 45 मिनट से 1 घंटा वो इंटरव्यू भी खिंच जाता है. That much about the structure of the interview, the sequence of the interview, and the time taken during the interview. Now I will go on to another important aspect, and that is about tips for interview. That what are my tips for you for the interview. Now, first of all, friends, when you are waiting in the waiting room, that is the time most candidates feel most nervous. Please let your mind be free, read some article, कोई वहाँ magazine पढ़ी होगी, वो पढ़ो. Don't worry too much about the interview. Don't go in with the nervous look on your face. Please don't do that. I assure you, everyone is nervous. आज मुझे आपके सामने आना था, मेरे अंदर भी थोड़ी बटरफ्लाइज इन द स्टमक रही होंगी. यार पता नहीं कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, नेटवर्क मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा. एवरीबडी हैज गॉट परफॉर्मेंस एंजाइटी. मेरे अंदर भी होती है, आपके अंदर भी हो सकती है, जनरली होती है, बट इट शुड नॉट बी टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेटेड. सो फ्रेंड्स, go in. Your entry should be confident, with a gentle smile on your face, and open the door gently. Seek permission. May I come in, sir? And of course, he'll say, come in, and then close the door behind you gently and stand there at the door and do the greetings. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good evening, sir. Jo bhi time of the day hai, please greet the interviewing officer, give him that respect, and that will be nice. Now, normally they do handshake, but if due to COVID they are not doing handshake, then he will simply say good morning, and he will indicate, please sit down on that chair, which will be, the chair will be about 8 feet in front of him. It will be it is called the social distance, and it will be about 8 feet away. So we'll indicate the chair, that you please say thank you and sit down on the chair. But if he is calling you for a handshake, then walk smartly, go and do a nice handshake, look into his face and eyes, and have a gentle smile on your face. Don't be कि आंखें चुरा रहे हो, आंखें घबरा रहे हो, मतलब no. शर्मा रहे हो, no शर्माना, no घबराना. Look normal, look confident, and do a normal handshake as a person does. And then he'll say, okay, please sit down. Say thank you, sir, and go and sit down on the chair. When you sit down on the chair, please adopt a good posture. Sit up straight. I am trying to sit up like that now. Sit up straight, sit straight, your head high, chest high, and don't slump, don't lean back too much into the chair. Don't slump forward, don't lean back, don't be tilted onto any one of the sides. Sit up straight like a soldier. आप फौजी आदमी बनने जा रहे हैं. Sit up straight. Your hands can be either on your knees or in your laps, between your thighs in your laps, or you can adopt any nice posture, decent posture, which you feel comfortable with, and both your feet should be planted on the ground, जमीन को टच करते हुए, और पैरों को कुर्सी के अंदर नहीं लो, पैरों को कुर्सी के अंदर मत खींचो. That shows you are tight and nervous. Sitting posture should be strong and upright. You can slightly lean forward. आपका रुझान उनकी तरफ होना चाहिए. You can slightly lean forward towards him. And ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने बुत बन के बैठ जाना है. In between you are feeling slightly, you need to shift, and you can do a little bit of shifting, but don't continuously keep moving. That shows jitteriness or nervousness. So that much about the sitting posture. There are also videos available for this. You can have a look in the videos as well, how to sit during an interview. Eye contact is extremely important. Look, you are speaking to someone. Yeah, there's a two-way channel. He will be very disappointed if you are not looking at him. You are looking at the ground and speaking. You are looking at the sky and speaking. You are looking left. You are looking out of the window. No, he will not like it. What is wrong with this candidate? Yeah, मेरे को देख के बात नहीं कर रहा. So please maintain a nice, steady eye contact with the interviewing officer. Eye contact का ये मतलब तो नहीं कि हम किसी को घूर के देख रहे हैं. Normal. Sit normally and look there at him, understanding the questions, acknowledging, and whenever required, constantly you don't have to do it. In between you want to acknowledge, and look normal and sit up and with a good eye contact, and don't look left, right, up, down. Look at him. That is what we mean by a healthy eye contact. Very important. As far as your facial expressions and voice is concerned, well, these are God's gifts given to you. Utilize them to the best of your ability. Be natural. Please do not try and copy someone. But yes, it looks good. When you look cheerful, everybody likes a smile and a cheerful look, a lively look. When you can use your facial expressions well, and when you speak in a well modulated voice, people like it. Your voice should be interesting, loud enough, clear enough, audible enough, and you should not be fumbling for words, things like that. So be normal, be natural, don't try and copy someone, and I'm sure you will be good. Now, listening is extremely important. Next point is listening. Listen very carefully to the questions which are being asked, and please only answer what is being asked. Now, after this, I'm going to cover the CIQs. After this, I will be going to the CIQs. And you will see how complicated they are. They are rather complicated. So please grasp the questions, because out of what I'm going to cover now, he may cover something, he may skip something. So if he skips something, he does not ask something, please don't answer it. Don't start answering that as a parrot. जैसे रट के आए हो और रटा रटाया बोल रहे हो. No, if he catches you doing that, then he'll say that बिल्कुल poached candidate. Now, coaching में कोई गड़बड़ नहीं है. आप लीजिए coaching. किसी को coaching से एतराज नहीं है. But coaching अगर आपको उल्टा सीधा करवा रही है आपसे, उस पे एतराज हो सकता है. क्या यार, this is exactly a coached response. So don't be absolutely coached and parroted. Please listen attentively to the questions and only answer what he is asking. Now, sometimes when you are answering the question, you feel that you have forgotten something, then you can try and remember. If he's still looking at you, he's not kind of, you have finished giving the answers, he's still looking expectantly at you, like I am looking at you now. He's still looking at you. like I am looking, which means you have forgotten something you have not covered, which was supposed to be covered. It should be a hint to you. Try and think. If you cannot remember, then after a few seconds, you can say, sorry, sir, I think I've forgotten a part of the question. Can you please repeat it? You can do it. There is no harm, but try and not get into this. And if you do it, it should be once or twice. Constantly, you should not keep forgetting things. Then you will feel you are not a good listener. Then you will feel you are not a good listener. Now, before I go to the answering part, I will cover the last point here, dress and turnout. Dress and turnout, you will be in the formal dress that you have carried. If you are going directly from the GTO ground, then like General Sharma had said, you may be in your GTO wear. Otherwise, you will be, you would have taken a bath. You will be nicely decked up for your interview. Now, friends, as far as dress code is concerned, sometimes call-up letter contains some instructions. Please follow them and follow the dress code. Boys, I would advise you to wear a pant and a shirt, wear a dark color trouser, a light color shirt, wear full sleeves, not half sleeves. Do not wear jeans and t-shirt. Do not wear sports shoes. Well, if you go in a weather when you can wear a blazer, a tie, it looks smart, it looks formal, you can do it. If you are not comfortable with it, it is not compulsory. Up to you. Have a good haircut, take a good shave every day in the SSB, take a good shave, go with a good decent haircut, well dressed, well turned out, like an officer, like a gentleman and like a lady. Girls again, those who are there, girls know how to dress up. I don't have to tell you. You can wear anything. You can wear a pant and a long shirt, or you can wear again, avoid jeans and t-shirt, avoid sports shoes. You can wear salwar kameez, you can wear kurta pajama, whatever you are comfortable with. There is no need to wear any makeup or any necklaces and earrings and too many rings in your hands and all should be avoided. No fashions, no ornaments, nothing is required. Go very plain, simple, dressed very plainly, simply, formally, like an officer or a gentleman or a lady. I'll just say that much. Now, friends, we come to the last bit about the interviewing, and that is about listening to the CIQs and the follow-up questions and answering them. So we come to the answering aspect, which is the most important thing as far as you are concerned in the interview. Now, we cannot do a model interview here. When I had come last time to the MET, we had even taken up one candidate for a model interview. Unfortunately, we cannot do it. All that I can do it, that I have told you that your interview will be conducted in a particular sequence. What I am going to do now is, I am going to rattle out the CIQs. You will see they are very lengthy, but this is how they will be. And you can note down the keywords. Otherwise, they are available in the internet. There is no need to note down, just understand them and try and follow how the CIQs will be put to you. Now we start with that. Let us presume the rapport building is over, and now I am proceeding towards CIQ 1. I will take it that some of you are in a job. So I am going to cover all 4 CIQs and not only 3. I'm going to cover all 4 so that it helps somebody who's even in a job. Let us say somebody is in Cognizant. I'm taking hypothetical example. He's already serving in Cognizant in Bangalore. So it will start something like this. That let's say the candidate is Anil Kumar. It will start something like this. That, okay, Anil Kumar, I've seen your PIQ, and now in the next 45 minutes, we will talk in detail about you to cover aspects related to your current service experience, education, home and family, and hobbies and spare time activities. I could even ask you some current affairs and general knowledge questions. We'll first start with your current service experience. In this, you can tell me When did you join the Cognizant? And how did you join the Cognizant? What was your basic training period like? Where are you currently serving? What is the nature of your job and the duties that you have to perform? Tell me something about your working environment and about your relations with your superiors, colleagues, and subordinates, if any. How much salary is being paid to you and how do you utilize it? And also, what do you consider to be your major achievements with Cognizant till date? This is CIQ number 1. Now, if you are not in Cognizant, you are in somewhere else, then so be it. It will go like that. This is CIQ number 1. Now, you will answer all this. While answering, please follow the same sequence in which the question has been given. That is why the importance of listening. And this is CIQ 1. Now you will answer, he will listen. When you are answering, he will never interrupt you. He will allow you to finish. He may be noting down something to be asked as follow-up questions, and there will be follow-up questions. He may ask you something more. Depending on what you spoke, he can ask you anything more about your duty, your daily routine, time management, something more about your boss, so on and so forth. Those are called follow-up questions. So there are CIQs, which I just spoke, and there are follow-up questions which will come, which are unexpected. I am sure you have understood the difference between CIQ, which I narrated, and the follow-up questions, which can be anything based on what you have said and what is striking his mind. And you will answer the follow-up questions also. This is how this part will get covered. Now we go to CIQ 2. He'll say, okay, Anil, I've understood about your present service experience. Now I would like to know about your educational background and the other associated aspects. So starting from your class 10th onward, you can tell me what are the marks you scored in all your exams? What are the subjects you had picked up for your higher studies in 10+2 and your reason for selecting those subjects? What is the impression your teachers had about you? Who was your favorite teacher? And in case there was a teacher who did not impress you, what are your future academic or career plans? Then you can tell me about the extracurricular activities and the games and sports in which you have participated. Special achievements can be highlighted. And after that, you can tell me about your friends circle. Friends from your school, college, or hostel. How did you spend time with them? Who are your close friends? And why do you like them so much? And lastly, if there were any problems in financing of your education. Now see how lengthy this CIQ is. And it will come like this only. This is the structure. Don't ask me, sir, why it is so lengthy. It is like this. It is for a purpose. You have to understand it is like this. And that is how it is going to be delivered. And now you will answer all this in the same sequence. You must answer, cover everything, and he will keep quiet. He will just listen to you. And then he will ask you the follow-up questions. As a part of this, you must definitely expect some follow-up questions which are subject related, and more follow-up questions on what you said about teachers and games and sports and extracurricular and friends. He can ask you hypothetical questions like, if I ask your friends about you, what will they say? If your friend has borrowed money from you, he promised to give it back after 1 month, and now 2 months have gone past, he has not given that money back, what will you do? Hypothetical questions. He can ask you even hypothetical questions as part of follow-up questions. Sky is the limit. God knows from where it will come. Keep your mind open. And this is how this part of the interview will proceed. Then he will come to the next CIQ. He'll say, okay, Anil, I've understood about your education. Now let us talk about your home and family. So you can tell me about your father, your mother, your brother, sisters, and the other members of your family, like your grandparents. What is the environment like at your home? How do you spend time together as a family? And what do you like to personally do in the house? Whom do you speak to whenever you need any personal guidance or advice? There must be friends in your colony. How do you spend time with them? And how much pocket money do you get and how do you use it? This is the CIQ. Now you will one by one answer all this. He will listen and then he will ask follow-up questions. And we come to the last CIQ. He would say, okay, now let us talk about your other hobbies and interests. So you can tell me, what do you like to do in your spare time? What are your hobbies and interests? What do you like to read? What do you like to watch on television? How do you utilize the internet? What is your daily routine like? What do you do on holidays? And how do you keep in touch with current affairs and general knowledge? यही चीजें आपने PIQ फॉर्म में भी डाली हुई हैं, वहीं से आएंगी, उन्हीं का बयान करोगे in the given sequence. And then after this, he will ask you the follow-up questions and current affairs and general knowledge questions. Current affairs and general knowledge can be about your state, the country, the region, the world, important developments, general matters, anything, current affairs and GK. You know what it is. History, geography, I mean, it can, so polity, science, it can come from anywhere. Current happenings. And since you are going for defense related sort of organization, issues like Indo-Pak relations, Indo-China relations, situation, Indo-China border standoff, the Naxalite problem, the insurgency in the Northeast, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, modernization of the Indian Air Force, Army or the Navy, what new things are coming, who are the chiefs, where are the commands, what are the equivalent ranks, what are gallantry awards? Can you name some gallantry award winners? Now, naturally, since you are going for a defense-oriented organization's interview, these overview of the armed forces must also be somewhere there. Basic knowledge should be there. Who's the chief of the air staff? Who's the chief of the army staff? What do you mean by CDS? What are theater commands? India's missile development program, nuclear policy. So besides other current affairs and GK, history, geography, polity, whatever is happening, continents and oceans and seas and capitals, besides all that, what we call current affairs and GK, ये current affairs and GK भी आपके साथ होना चाहिए, ये आएगा आपके इंटरव्यू. And you must do well in this. ये आपका कई बार एक borderline case को ये आर या पार करवा सकता है, current affairs and GK. अगर आप borderline पे हो, this can take you R or par. So friends, this is about this. And after all these CIQs are over, he comes to the last, call it CIQ or whatever you want to call it, self-evaluation and motivation. Now he says, he's coming to the end of the interview. Now he says, okay, Anil, what do you think are your strong points and what are the qualities you would like to improve more in yourself? Something like what we said in SD. Same thing. What are your strong points and what are the qualities you would like to improve more in yourself? Think about it. First, mention the strong points. 4 or 5 strong points you must give. Then mention a couple of qualities that you need to enhance or improve. You will have to think about it, what to tell him. This is called self-evaluation. And next thing is, why do you want to join the armed forces or army, navy, air force? This I told you right in the beginning. Tell him something praiseworthy about the organization and how you think you are well suited for such a job. That is what he wants to hear from you. Something praiseworthy and how you feel you are well suited for this job. And that is what motivates you. And friends, in the end, he will say, we are now coming to the closing of the interview. Before that, he may even ask you, in case you are not recommended, what is your plan B? Plan B in life is very important. Tell him what is your plan B. You can start by saying, sir, I have worked very hard. I am confident of making it, sir. But unfortunately, if I do not make it, I will introspect. I will come back again, perform better and get recommended. But besides this, the other competitive exams, and my plan is to appear for IAS, IPS, do the higher judiciary, or I'm in a job with such and such. I will continue with that. And in the meantime, I will keep working and trying to get recommended in the armed forces. Something on those lines would be the correct answer to give. Plan B hona chahiye. Don't be without a plan B. And here the interview gets over, and last May he will say, okay, friend, that was a good conversation we had. I enjoyed it. I have asked you so many questions. If you want to ask me any question, you are most welcome. To which your standard reply can be, no, sir. Thank you very much. Just smile and you can say, no, sir. Thank you very much. Please don't ask him any question. It is a courtesy he is extending to you. There is no need to ask him any question. Not required. Say, no, thank you very much, sir. And then he will say, okay, thank you. Then you please get up and say, good evening, sir. Good morning, sir. Jai Hind, sir. And leave the room. This is where the interview gets over. Please try and do well while answering the CIQs, and please try and do well while answering the follow-up questions. And do not bluff the interviewing officer. Be honest, be straight with him. If you do not know the answer to any particular question, no problems. You can always say, sorry, sir, I do not know the answer, but I will find out. I will repeat that again. Sorry, sir, I do not know the answer, but I will find out. And don't try and unnecessarily pull a fast one, trying to bluff him. It is not easy to bluff him. He's a seasoned person. He's got experience. If he catches you bluffing once or twice, he will not feel very happy. Don't bluff the interviewing officer. Be honest and truthful with him. Friends, I will conclude about the interview technique by simply saying this much. All that the interviewing officer is expecting from you is the following. That he feels in the end that the candidate came in confidently, sat through the interview without feeling ruffled and nervous, was paying attention to the questions, his grasp was good, was responding with decent knowledge. Nobody is looking at an Albert Einstein or an encyclopedia. He had decent knowledge, good enough knowledge. His reasoning abilities were up and about. He gave logical answers. He followed the sequence. Overall, he has shown to me that he's a person with high average and above intelligence, socially well adjusted. He likes others, others like him, has some achievements to show me either in studies or in games or in sports or in the other fields, which are nice to look at and to hear from him. And that overall, I find that he's a person who appears to be fairly fit and fairly lively and mentally robust. Friends, this much is enough. Armed forces are not looking for a Superman or a Albert Einstein. And of course, you must get the impression that besides knowledge, you're also having the ability to convey your knowledge, is good, decent power of expression, and you were able to share your thoughts with him with clarity and ease. And of course, we should not show any negative traits in any of the OLQs. We have to be careful in what we speak, and we have to be tactful and guarded in what should be said and what need not be said. You're all intelligent enough, you're all mature enough to know what should be said and what need not be said. Ultimately, SSB is all about projecting your personality and your achievements and admitting some shortcomings. Nobody is perfect, and if you can sort of behave with him in this manner, what I have just now indicated to you, he will be happy with you. That's where I would like to end my part of the interview. And I will just flash through 2 slides which bring me to the end of the presentation, which is an advice to the candidates. I'm just going to flash them through. It will take 1 minute only, then I come up for question and answers. Friends, my final advice to you is like this. This is my final advice to you. Please read it. Why I'm particularly saying make continuous efforts to improve communication skills, general awareness, self-confidence, social graces, team spirit, ability to influence others, because these are normally the areas where candidates do not come up to the desired level. And these are highly trainable qualities which you can acquire or build, create within yourself. It is in your hands. I will now go to my last slide. Why I've said undertake academic pursuits / further studies, please understand. It may not be relevant to you. What happens is when a candidate has remained away from studies after his graduation, I'm giving an example, and has done nothing, 3 years have not gone past, he's not got into a job, he's not done any further studies, then it starts reflecting in the form of a weak profile. May start getting reflected. Not will, it may reflect, if not a very good profile. Look, the candidate is not doing anything. 3 years ho gaye hain, nobody has taken him. He's not gone for anything further, no studies. That's why. And I started by saying, do not bank on cracking the, I started by saying, do not bank on cracking the SSB by rote and copy. Very important point. Please do not, see, you can use the guidebooks. You can go for coaching. I am not stopping you, nor am I advising you, nor I am stopping you. Frankly, if you ask me, if somebody says, do I need coaching? I have to know you to advise you. There is no harm in coaching, but do not try and utilize preconceived thoughts and ideas and force fit them where they do not fit. That is, sometimes candidates do that and their responses start looking overcoached. Overcoaching can be harmful. Effective coaching can be very good. By all means, take coaching. Nobody will hold it against you, but do not try and mug up things. And there is no need to do it. And this cut, copy, paste kind of a thing does not work. SSB is not a test in that sense. It is a test of your evaluation of your personality, where cut, copy, paste may not work. Have your original ideas, original thoughts, and give a demonstrated performance. That is what is required. That is the key to success. Thank you very much, friends. I enjoyed bringing this seminar and this subject to you. I hope you have gained something from it. I'm sure you would be having queries, which I will now take on.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. Sir, Director sir, you were saying something?
Yeah.
You're on mute.
I'm on mute.
No, Director sir is on mute.
Director, sir.
Sorry. What I'm saying is that there may be certain questions which have not been answered. Otherwise, sir has covered each and every aspect. So you have noted down the questions. If you think some question remains unanswered, ask those questions. Otherwise, it need not repeat what sir has already said. Okay.
Yes, sir. So, sir, there is a question from one of our students, Anjali. She is in the 10th semester. She had an accident a few years back, and because of that, her right hand is not fully functional. So she wants to know whether she is eligible for this exam.
No. Exam or for getting
For the
selected?
services, sir.
You see, now it all depends on the nature of the injury. There are people who get fractures and the fractures fully heal up, and over time they leave no traces also, and they leave no जिसको हम बोलते हैं disability. Now you see, it all depends. If she's had a complicated fracture, which has left a kind of a deformity in the body, or a disability that she cannot move about the hand in a particular way, then it can pose a problem to her in the medical test. As far as the SSB is concerned, SSB is not conducting your medical test. SSB is an evaluation of your personality. Of course, you will be made to do the physical test, but people with fractures and this and that sometimes do the individual obstacles, and physically
Yes.
they are okay, but finally they get caught up in medical because of a deformity or because they are not able to do certain movements, which I mean there is something which creates a disability because the medical organization has a kind of a criteria for everything. So beyond this, if she wants to take an expert advice, she must consult a surgeon. Preferably, she can even look for a retired army surgeon, because if she goes for to somebody who's serving, then that can be done if the person is well known, and they will examine her and if required take an x-ray and give her the correct advice. Yes, there is no problem if your injury has totally healed up and it has not created a deformity or a disability as per the medical standards, you will still be taken in by the medical. But there is a column there that have you ever suffered any injuries? There you are expected to honestly fill up the details, because concealment can create problems later on. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yeah. There is one question which 2-3 candidates have asked is about repeat. If they have not succeeded in the first go and then they go for the second time or the third time, how does it affect their performance or their chances of selection, sir?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it happens very, very frequently. So the question is very logical. I want to put your mind at rest by telling you that for the SSB, your every attempt is a new attempt. The SSB does not take it against you that, oh, why have you come again? ये तो 3 बार पहले नहीं हुआ, इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम है तभी नहीं हुआ होगा. No, please take this thought out of your mind. Even the SSB assessors know SSB is not an easy cup of tea. It is not an easy nut to crack. There are times when the candidate may not have succeeded earlier. He's coming back again, only goes on to show that he's determined and he's motivated. In fact, your repeat performances are a good indicator of your motivation to join the armed forces and your determination to improve. Now, friends, every attempt is a new attempt. There are so many cases while I was there in the SSB, or here when the students come to me, candidates who make it in the second attempt, fourth attempt, seventh attempt, fifth attempt, it happens every day with me. It happens every day with me. And there are cases where candidates go and get screened out, and next time they go and get recommended. I can give hypothetical examples. There was a phone call which was just coming when we were doing, the girl is Sudha. She has recently got recommended, one of my students, and she was just calling, I think, because she had gone for medical. She must be wanting to tell me what has happened, but I did not pick up the call. I'll speak to her later. Now, she was screened out last time. When she came to me, she was screened out. She told me, sir, I was screened out. I said, we will see. She went, she got recommended. I'm not saying she has got recommended because of Prem Mandotra. No, she has got recommended because of herself. She could understand.
I can also pitch in for this, sir. My son got selected in the third attempt. First time he went up to interview, second time screened out. And third time, we had the privilege of spending the whole day with you, and he got selected. So, but that was not taken negatively at any of the times. It is that performance, if I'm not wrong, sir, performance at that point of time.
Absolutely right. What actually happens is candidates who are truly motivated, they don't give up, they introspect, they improve, and at times luck factor plays a role. I'm not saying a major role, and everything, all your things fall into the correct slot, the correct place, and you can definitely get recommended. It is, please do not hold back in case you have not made it earlier. I can give you n number of examples. I have candidates, kindly listen to this. I have candidates who are 4 times screened out, 5th time screened in, recommended. I have candidates who are 6 times recommended and 4 times screened out, never conferenced out. I have candidates who are 2 times screened in, 2 times conferenced out. I mean, there are all kinds of candidates, and you may be one such category. As long as you are introspecting, trying to understand what you could have done better in the SSB, improving in those areas, and going back and giving a better demonstrated performance, you will always stand a chance to get recommended. Yes, you may be put in freshers batch may be separate sometimes in the GTO, the repeaters batch may be separate. So that's okay. That is just a procedure they follow, because they feel that जो नए आए हैं उनको थोड़ा इतना आइडिया नहीं है, पुराने वालों के preconceived ideas हैं, so they may follow that methodology. But it has nothing to do with कि अगर आप पहले 3-4 बार recommend नहीं हुए हो, they will take it negative, or they will feel there is something wrong in you. No, the SSB is trained to take every attempt as a new attempt.
Sir, the next question is from Saurabh. He is asking how to increase the speed to write PP and DT story and TATs.
By practice, you have to see whether you are normally slow in writing. Have you been like this in your school days and college days? Or is it only happening here in psych test? If you have normally been slow in school and college, also in exams, you felt that your answers were incomplete, or you were always running out of time, then there is some inherent problem, which means inherent problem is that you are slightly slow and ponderous. And now it is for you to find shortcuts, write faster, and practice can do it. But otherwise, if you were okay, but it is happening in psych tests, and that too only in PP and DT and TAT, which means story making mein, or is it also happening in TAT and SRTs? If it is happening in TAT and SRTs, then again it is an indicator that you are basically slow and ponderous, which means you have not trained your mind to be sharp and to be quick thinking, and you are trying to evaluate too many options before you come to a final decision. Friends, there is no There is no tablet you can eat. There is no injection you can take. अगर कोई है तो मुझे बता दो, मुझे भी एक लगा देना, मैं भी लगवा लूंगा. Everybody wants to be sharper and quicker. This you have to develop. There is a point up to which you need to ponder, and beyond that you have to decide and act. Train your mind, train your body to do it, and you will accomplish it. There is no injection or a tablet which can be given for this. Train your mind, train your body, and see where is it happening. If it is happening everywhere, then obviously you are slow and ponderous. But if it is happening only in TAT, then perhaps you had not understood the mechanics. And now today that you have understood the mechanics, try and apply that and see if it makes any improvement. That is what I would like to say.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Mr. Prasoon Kumar. He is asking, what is Territorial Army and how to join that?
Territorial Army is not the regular army. It is a sister organization in which the candidates are and obviously you are referring to officers in TA, so I am also referring only to officer selection in TA, in which officers are taken on what is called, I am trying to recollect the correct terminology, what is called the on it, I am not getting the exact word right now, it will come to me. You are taken on temporary basis. It is, you can't, it is, the word is not probation, but there's a word for it. It is not striking my mind. You are taken on time basis or temporary basis because this is a sister organization which has been created. The TA performs both operational and non-operational duties. Most of the time, the TA is committed in operational areas where you would be serving like any other army officer. The ranks given to you are the same ranks, lieutenant, captain, major, and so on. Now, the point is that though you are taken in for on temporary basis and there is no permanent commission which is given to you, neither it is a short service commission for 5, 14 or 10 years. You are taken in for a term basis for whatever time you are needed, and after that you are again that word I am not kisi ko naam yaad, that word is you are sent back to your civil stream and you may be recalled whenever required again. You see, this is the official position. On ground, what is happening is, because the requirements of the armed forces are immense. You know how much we are committed in insurgency, internal security duties, sometimes even in law and order problems, and so on. The requirement has become many folds, and normally a person who joins the TA does not have to come out. He can continue. In many cases, people have gone on to serve continuously for 20 years and even become pensionable. And otherwise, it is not a permanent commission. Way to join it, you will have to first appear in a written exam. It is available, the details are available on the internet. You have to look for the government notification. Then you will be sent to the nearest command headquarters for a preliminary interview. जिसको हम preliminary SSB बोलते हैं. You have to get recommended from there, and once you get recommended from there, which is not difficult, you will be called for the main SSB, which is like any other SSB. So the TA officers who are commissioned as TA officers on temporary basis have to face the same SSB which a normal candidate is facing. That one word I am not getting in my mind, uska ek naam hai, means you are taken in on time basis and you can be released from service and called back again. And of course, you will get the salary and stipends and all that during the tenure of service. But if you carry
if I may also add to what you have told them, it is basically to assist the army, as you mentioned, that army has got such different, and then there are specialized TA battalions like people come from oil companies, Indian Oil and all. Then there are railway TA, then there are coal. So various, and then infantry, like now, sir, in the environment also, Territorial Army, which was there in Leh, they were assisting the environment in planting trees and improving the environmental condition. And then these are serving, they're serving at some place. They're already maybe banks or all these places, and then they volunteer to come. They come for training. They are there for a short period. Then they go back to their organization and they start working. And as you rightly said, they are a reserve for the armed forces. Whenever there is a need, they can call that. Like for example, sir, I do not know Chandigarh, Union Territory, Chandigarh. Yesterday there is a strike of the electricity board. So whole day there was no, and the strike is for 3 days. So today the news says army being called in. So for all you know, the Territorial Army based in Chandigarh may be asked to move. They use the term army, but it could be the Territorial Army which is going to do that.
Yeah. When they are in operational area, they are not employed exactly in frontline duties, but definitely they are very much in the combat zone. They may be guards, sentries, patrolling. They may be doing other activities like giving security to moving columns, convoy protection. So they are doing a combat role even within the army. And like sir has also said, we have home and hearth battalions. We have home and hearth battalions which may be involved in environmental let's say activities, planting of trees and preservation of nature and so on. Yes. But the point is that it is the same. You have to look for the government notification, apply, do a written, pass a written exam, go to the command headquarters, the letter will come to you. You have to clear a preliminary SSB, and then you will be called for the main SSB, which is just like this for any other SSB.
I think, Asha, we have had enough, or there are more questions?
We have a lot of more questions. Just one last question, sir, if you permit.
Yeah.
What percentage of preparation is expected by assessors that we get recommended? The question is asked by Sakshi. She's an 8th semester student here.
Please repeat the question.
What percentage of preparation is expected by assessors that we get recommended?
It is not to say that there is any percentage which can be, which can be said, but any examiner, whether it is assessor in the SSB or your examiner in your daily exams of law and school and college that you've done, expect you to be well prepared. Expect you to be well prepared. Now, what does preparation mean? Preparation means exactly understanding what is going to happen in the SSB and then applying your mind to it. For example, we have talked about current affairs and general knowledge. Now, current affairs and general knowledge, sky is the limit. I even mentioned some subjects. After all, you have to give a lecture. If you are ill prepared, you may not be able to select out of the 4 topics. You may not know you may not know a single topic, 4 may say. If you are ill prepared, you may not be able to participate actively in the group discussion. You will falter in so many interview questions. So I've just given you one example of current affairs and GK, which can put you in trouble. Similarly, if somebody feels that you are not physically totally fit, that you lack stamina, that you cannot run, you cannot climb a rope, you are scared of jumping or going on to a height. Now, friends, you will have to prepare physically also, because these are the things you will face over there. So your preparation is not a one-day affair. It is not a typical test. This preparation should be a part and parcel of your daily life. You have understood the OLQs. You must try and introspect and constantly develop them. It's a part of your preparation. It's preparing your personality. And besides that, there are physical things like, actually improving your current affairs and GK, actually improving your physical fitness, actually trying to improve your spoken English. Suppose you don't speak English much, but you're not accustomed to speaking, then start speaking. See, everything is preparation. Take another example. I just now told you CIQs. Look at the CIQs. They are so comprehensive. should you not be sitting down with a register and a pen, noting down the CIQs, and one by one trying to think, what will you tell the interviewing officer in this? He's saying, tell me what is the impression your teachers had about you. I am giving an example. Would you not like to prepare and think what you will be telling? And where is it coming from? It is coming from what you performed on the ground. So everything is a preparation. The moment they see you are knowledgeable, and not only knowledgeable, you are able to deliver your knowledge, it definitely shows them that you are a truly motivated candidate and you've been preparing all along, and you cannot wait till the last day to prepare. So to answer your question in short, preparation is vital, because preparation will give you the knowledge and preparation will give you the confidence to perform. Ill-prepared candidate will neither have the knowledge, or he will have semi-knowledge, but he will definitely lack in confidence. And when you are lacking in confidence, you will not actively participate, you will hesitate, you will hold back. So ill-prepared candidates must be careful, and prepared candidates are on the correct tracks. This is what I can say.
Thank you, sir, for guiding the participants. I'm sure this will pave a path for their self-improvement and success. Now, I would like to request Major General P.K. Sharma, Professor and Director, Amity Law School and Dean Faculty of Law, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Sir, thank you very much. Thank you is a very small term for this type of a workshop. I know you had to rush through time, but very meticulously and very exhaustively, you have covered everything, sir. And to summarize, I think a candidate has to be pragmatic, objective, and honest. I think that is what main things that you have brought out. Sir, there were times I remember in early 80s when a candidate who was selected by the SSB, there were private companies who were approaching those candidates to pick them up without an interview and give them more money than what the army was offering, armed forces were offering that time. So this is the quality of the selection system which you brought out has remained unchanged for last 50 years. That's a wonderful, wonderful system. We are short of time. Otherwise, a few examples that I know of these two candidates who were selected by the SSB, and there were some hiccups here and there, and how they came true. So one of the finest system, and I'm very grateful to you for being so exhaustive. I have, in fact, in one or two places when I have given lectures with regard to this, I have utilized some of the slides that you have made, and they're very, very helpful. So to the students, sir, in the chat box, I have seen a large number of thank you. People want more of, students want more of such interviews, such workshops to be conducted. And so we are looking forward to better situation, pandemic going down, and then maybe requesting you to come here as you did once earlier, also come here and have a one face-to-face interaction with these students. I mean, last time, sir, you remember that girl who sat down for the mock interview? She was also the third attempt. She cleared the SSB, sir. It's another matter that the vacancies were less and that she couldn't make it to the final list, but she cleared the SSB. So we are grateful once again. Thank you very much. And Asha, very well conducted, and all the students. It's been a long webinar, and it's very difficult for the students to stick and hear, but this was very, very interesting. So, sir, grateful to you once again, and we look forward to more such interactions with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. If somebody's question has got left out because of time, it can be sent to me.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
it can be sent to me, and or the person can speak to me and clarify, and I will be happy to answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So whoever is interested and whoever wants your email ID or mobile number, we will share that with the students, and they can directly get in touch.
Most welcome, and thank you very much. Thanks Amity University, and my regards to all the faculty members and I look forward to coming there.
Yes, sir. Yes.
When times will be okay, and
Yes.
when we will be happy to call each other. And I will definitely look forward. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Bye-bye.